bad movies, bad life advice, and even worse life decisions. We cover it all here on the Life with Kenny podcast. I'm your host, Kenny. Grab a beer, sit back, and relax for this week's episode, because things are about to get weird.
What's an all-American girl like you doing with a geek like this?
Forgiveness is divine, but never pay full price for late pizza.
Fuck me gently with a chainsaw.
Jimmy was off the hook. I know you really don't listen to Slipknot.
Judge Reinhold.
You are listening to a Life with Kenny podcast.
Not quite my tempo. It's all good. No worries. Here we go.
All right, what's up? Welcome back to this week's episode of Life Legends. I believe this is episode 7. I lost track. I've been doing way too many editing. We are broadcasting from the past, but today I'm joined with regular co-host Patrick.
All right.
All right. Kyle.
Yeah.
And returning guest Shane.
What's up, pussies?
Shane was here for the Room episode.
Was
he? Greasy Strangler?
Oh, yeah.
Was there anything else?
Nope. I don't show up often, so.
Well, I think your record's higher than Ethan's at this point.
Fuck you, Ethan.
This is your first time being on the Life Legends episode, and we're doing something special today. Can you pass me that, Patrick?
This?
Yeah, we're doing a
Those are weed berries.
flavor tripping experience. Are any of you guys...
Are these drugs?
Familiar with flavor tripping? Jesus, that was loud.
I've never done drugs. Is this drugs?
No,
I can't
it's
do
not.
these.
It's not
It
drugs.
doesn't seem like it's drugs.
Can I see the back
It's
of that?
literally just a berry. Are any of you guys familiar with flavor tripping?
Nutrition facts.
No.
Before I brought this up to you,
No.
you've never even heard of it.
No.
Okay.
0.35 calories per serving.
I can't. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's-
0% everything else.
You actually told me not to Google it. You told me not to do my research on it.
yeah. Well,
You're like, hey, do you know what the flavor tripping is? I was like, no. He's like, okay, don't Google it. And then you fucking asked me, do you know what it is? Like,
well,
were you checking to see if I Googled it?
kind of. Yeah, actually.
Is everyone over the age of 5?
You can do this if you're fine. Anyone born on a leap year?
Okay, so what flavor tripping is there's these berries that we have. They're called miracle berries, and what they do is they have a protein in them that as you chew it up, you have to chew it up really well. Basically, coat your entire mouth with it, and it starts to change, basically like your taste buds temporarily for like an hour, and it like rewires your taste buds. So everything sour that's normally sour has sweet properties. Anything that's bitter has different properties. Anything that's sweet has different properties. So we're going to try this out and see if it actually works. Me and Kyle were planning on tricking one of you guys and just giving you like a dried cranberry to try. So the rest of us are like actually experiencing it so that you guys would be like fucked and just eating straight up lemon wedges.
Punch you in the chest.
But these look nothing like, there's nothing similar to this that I could find that would actually like trick you guys close enough. But I'll give you guys each one of these. There's 10 of them, so if it doesn't work, you can have a second one. Shane?
This sounds a lot like drugs.
Yeah.
So what you want to do is you want to chew it really well.
Don't you? We want
Coat
to
your
use
mouth
water
with
first,
it.
right?
Yeah, so use water. Cleanse your mouth, I guess, with it.
I think that's Shane's. I've already drank out of that other one.
And
Fuck, sick.
and once your mouth is cleared out, you got to chew this berry really well. And we're videotaping this, or we're going to try to videotape this, so we might have some videos posted on Facebook and Instagram if you're interested in that, at Life with Kenny Pod and Life with Kenny Podcast. So
It don't smell like much.
how this goes. Let me know, like, tell me how, like, let's tell the listeners how it tastes, how you're feeling about
to eat
this.
it already? Fuck.
Oh, you can, yeah, but I haven't yet. But because I'm trying
Are you
to
gonna
keep
die,
talking
Patrick?
going.
It's very sweet.
What's it taste like? Is there anything comparable?
Literally like a cranberry.
Yeah. Well, I probably could have.
Yeah,
got
you
fucking
fucking could
cranberries.
have duped me, for sure.
Okay.
Also, these mics work really well because I can hear every one of you fucking swallowing. Yeah, just...
It does have like a sour,
It's like an ASMR podcast.
Holy fuck.
a sour like aftertaste
strong.
to it as well. It kind of tastes like a raisin.
Is it bad if I got a bit stuck in my teeth?
I got lots in my teeth.
No, man, the British are famous for having terrible teeth, so I think you're safe.
Yeah, I definitely fit that stereotype. Is it going to hinder the tripping experience? Whoa.
How long do we wait? When does it kick in?
I don't know. Shane has the most experience with that type of thing. Shane, how long do we wait? Okay, so first we'll try.
About an hour.
I figured.
Hour 15.
Okay, so here are the directions. Cleanse your palate with a glass of water.
A whole glass? I used a bottle.
Clean with a clean tongue. Take a miracle berry from the package, place it on your tongue, chew for 30 seconds, moving the berry around your mouth.
I didn't do that at all.
Do you guys want another one?
Read these
Do you want another one?
Why are you reading this after we ate it? What the fuck?
I feel like we should take
I took time out of my day.
Okay, let's try it first. See if it does anything.
Okay. So, Patrick, you want to pass the plate here for a second? We'll each grab a... Do you guys want to do lemon or lime first?
I feel like we should just eat one more, just to be certain.
Once they're gone,
I
they're
don't
gone.
taste nothing right now.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's give it a shot.
We also haven't eaten anything, Kyle.
We just ate a berry. I don't know where you were.
Eaten also isn't a word, so...
Well,
Listen here, you fucking
So
British.
it says place on your tongue, right?
You fucking...
Yeah, so
The queen's a bitch.
it's basically like just chew it and move it around your mouth. And, like, get it everywhere you can.
Well, I did do that, but that's not what it said.
Well, yeah, place on your tongue, because, like, they don't want you to just, like, put on your teeth. I don't know. I don't know. They're explaining how to eat.
The directions were like just...
I think they're working.
Just put it in your mouth, you fucking retard, honestly.
It kind of tastes like raisins to me.
I get why you say that. Get your fucking foot down. I swear to God.
I'll point at you.
Fucking...
Oh, Patrick's meaty feet were at the table.
Ugh.
Okay,
He's touching me with them, Kenny.
so what we're going to do, we're going to go through some of these fruits and stuff. And candies. We got lemon, lime, warheads, cinnamon hearts, some barbecue sauce. Kyle
Fucking
said he
hate
read
cinnamon.
somewhere. We got sweet tarts. We got some other sour candies. And then we also got, Guinness. Apparently Guinness is really good for this as well.
Okay.
So let's start with a lime, because I think the lime is a little bit less sour than a lemon. So if you want to, here, I'll pass you this. I'll grab one more and then I'll get Shane
You
to
did
pass
this
this.
the opposite way.
Okay, so just eat the lime, I guess.
What does it taste like?
I'll be honest with you, that fucking... Those berries are nothing.
Holy shit, yeah, that.
It's kind of sweet.
Oh, actually, yeah. You're right.
That's actually not sour at all. That's bizarre.
Honestly, I didn't think this was going to work. Like, I've seen lots of videos and stuff on
It's
this.
still sour, though.
It's
for
a little
me.
bit sour, but it's like a lot sweeter than it would be normally.
Probably because you put the berries up your fucking nose. You idiot.
It's what it
Holy
said,
crap. That is fucking sweet.
That's all right, man. I feel like I've eaten
I could
some
eat
skin.
candy.
Wow. Okay, so
There's
Nice
pieces
ball.
of berry.
I'm going to get a bag. What's up?
though. There's a berry on
Both of ours have pieces of berry in it.
Because you guys didn't swish around enough. Okay. I'm going to get this bag here so we can throw the thing in there. Yeah, you're supposed to swallow it.
Shane, would you rather eat this whole thing or lick my toe?
Eat the whole thing.
Yeah.
Do you want to do it?
No. No, wait a minute. No, that's not an option. In this hypothetical situation, I would rather eat an entire lime.
Okay, let's do the lemons real quick just to see how that is
Okay.
too. So
You got it? Nice.
yeah, I'll just grab this one. Did I?
Why did you bring spoons for the lemon?
Wait, did I only grab a couple pieces?
Fine, I'm new, I get it. It's okay.
All right, well I'll give you
forgot
that.
about
Me and Patrick will rip this one in half, I guess.
It's so strong, Kenny.
There you go. So we're gonna do the lemon. Okay, but honestly, it tasted, the lime just tasted like a lime, but it tasted
tastes-
like a lime Slurpee almost. Like it was really sweet.
It actually, like, I'm so surprised that it doesn't just taste like a fucking lemon.
Is it not working for you, Shane?
It's slightly working. It's still sour, but it tastes different.
Tastes good.
Lemons taste good to begin with.
Honestly,
Patrick.
if there was a lemonade like that, I would drink that shit all day long.
It doesn't taste far from like lemonade. That's like flat lemonade, you know.
It's so strange.
What the fuck did you bring spoons for?
Yeah, that's what I was confused about as well.
I grabbed it for something else, but I don't remember what I grabbed it for.
Just incredibly formal, chowing down on lemons.
Here, take that.
But yeah, so far, what are you guys' thoughts on
And
this
eat it.
experience?
It's weird. It's working quite nicely.
Do you feel like this would be like better or worse if you were high right now, Shane?
Well, it's neither.
Okay, I'm gonna give you guys each a warhead. Do you guys have like a flavor that you don't like?
What's a warhead?
It's like the sourest candy
The
you
things
can
that
get.
demolished the fucking buildings in England, Patrick, during World War II.
You
Alrighty.
sure know a lot about World War II, huh?
Yeah.
Here,
I was there.
I'll just give you each one. I don't fucking know.
Right on.
And then you get to pick
Watermelon.
which one. Okay, so warheads
Ooh, apple.
are probably like the most sour candy you can get at like a normal store. Us as kids, we used to get them, and it would be like a challenge to eat the warhead. You look confused.
I had a wrapper stuck on it still.
There you go. So,
I don't think it's changing much.
was it really sour for you?
Mm-hmm.
Might not be the best audio, but
You're gonna have to like edit this
I'm curious because when's the last time you guys have had warheads?
in a while.
I feel like they're probably a lot sour without doing that.
That's what I'm
Because
thinking.
that wasn't that bad.
No, this is mild.
It's almost like a normal sour candy.
Yeah. Because I feel like I know what they should taste like, and they are fucking garbage. But this is alright.
It's almost making it edible. So do you guys know Good Mythical Morning? Have you heard of that? So they did this on that show one time. That's kind of where I got the idea.
Stolen.
They also did one because we're planning a night where we do a hot ones hot sauce challenge. So we're gonna do, I think, like
I'm busy that day.
8 wings each, and we're gonna see how far we can make it. And Rhett and Link did an episode where they had these pills. So what Rhett did is he made these fake pills. He made a fake website for it and everything. They were just kids' vitamins. And he gave them to Link and told them that they did the same thing as this, basically, but for hot stuff, where it made it less hot. And they didn't. Like, they don't exist. That pill doesn't exist. So he was eating kids' vitamins and was, like, pretending like it changed everything. So I'm wondering how much of this is, like, mental versus how much it actually affects your taste buds.
The first one was fucking sweet, like right off the hop, but I think they just wear out quick.
Yeah, that other one was still sour as fuck.
All right, so do you guys want to move on to something else here? Okay. Do we want to try the Guinness?
I'm game for
Guinness
Guinness.
isn't gonna work on me because I've never had Guinness
Ever.
plain,
Okay.
so this will just taste like Guinness to me.
You might like it.
Let's see here. Okay, so
I want to see you pour this over your computer.
I'm just going to go ahead and
Do you know
recommend
how to pour
don't
Guinness?
it on there. You're going to want to get a spoon
Wow.
or something.
I don't know how to share a can of Guinness.
how many of you guys have had Guinness
What
before?
the fuck?
I had a shave and a
Put
haircut.
one of the
once.
spoons in the cup and pour it onto the spoon.
Yeah, we got
That'll
it.
work?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Like, pour it onto the top head of the spoon. And just let it.
Is that why you brought it?
No, I don't know. Like, no,
How in the fuck am I supposed to do
fuck's
this?
sake. Give me the fucking... Absolute bunch of women.
Don't you guys drink Guinness for like breakfast? Like your breakfast morning coffee? Isn't that your...
Oh, instead of a cigarette after sex, they drink Guinness.
As if we have sex at all.
I can tell you what they don't do in the morning is brush their teeth, but Guinness is definitely up there, right, Patrick?
Fuck, that was personal.
Are you a bartender?
Oh man, you're a champ at this.
Look at that, no foam.
All right, so remember we
I
have
don't
to
know
do
if it
4
has
cups
foam.
with the one can, so you don't want to do too
Well,
much.
that's Patrick's.
Chill, Patrick.
Kyle, have you had Guinness before?
Yes.
What are your guys' thoughts on Guinness as it is? You like it?
I wouldn't drink it all night, but you can do a couple.
It's supposed to be for 4, Patrick.
Yeah, what the hell? There's
that's
two
fine.
more cups, man.
The fuck?
That's
I'm wondering whether you guys think I'm some sort of fucking octopus with 275 fucking arms.
you know when you offer to
Jesus
do
fucking
something.
Christ. Let me move this shit out
All
of
right.
the way first.
So maybe we should cleanse our palates with water as
Are
well.
you supposed to?
Well, you can. It's not going to wash the berry away. The berry has already coated your tongue.
My tongue feels like it's coated with a warhead.
Maybe that's part of it.
Ow.
You okay? It's the cavities. Okay, so once we get a little bit into this, Patrick and I and Kyle have been discussing a case of Madeleine McCann, which is on Netflix. So we will discuss that in a little bit here as
Supposed to let
well.
it sit?
Who are you cheersing? My boy Blue. God bless.
Lads. Okay,
Lads, to the lads.
You Shane.
What do you think?
To the Communist Party. Let's go, boys.
yeah, it tastes like Guinness to me.
Yeah.
That's fucking nice.
Is Guinness normally a lot harsher to drink?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's usually
It's
not
supposed
sweet
to.
as that
It's supposed
at all.
to make it taste like chocolate cake, and I kind of do see it.
I agree with that. It tastes like someone pissed on a chocolate cake and then fed it to me.
Yeah, best chocolate cake out there.
That could just be the piss-soaked chocolate cake that we had before we started.
Okay, well,
Maybe.
you know, are we going to bottoms up? Might as well.
I don't know if I could chug this.
Was there any left?
No, it's gone.
All right, Kenny's not
Dead
driving
air.
you guys home anymore. So
Yeah, from like a small amount of beer. Okay, so what are your guys' thoughts so far then?
Just before we continue, we like to drink with Shane because Shane is our mate. And when we drink with Shane, he downs his drink in 8, 7, 6,
Oh, is this an
5.
actual thing?
What am I supposed to do?
4,
What am I supposed to do?
3,
drink it.
2, 1.
You have to Did it wear off?
Just a full-on fucking hurt. Giffen.
Okay, so one of the things we read also was barbecue sauce. That's why I brought the spoons.
Oh, okay.
So
The Guinness soaked spoon.
I'll use this one. It's fine.
I don't know. where the
Delicious.
other spoons are there, Kyle?
What are spoons?
Well, I thought. Oh, these
There's two
ones-
more right there. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna give these guys some spoons.
I think mine's worn off. I don't know if I just want to straight up eat barbecue sauce.
Well, you're gonna do it. So the sauce that I got here is
Patrick, $5.
Yeah, do you want me to do it with my dick out as well?
Oh, by the way, Patrick makes $5 an episode.
Yeah.
Wait, we're getting paid for this?
No.
That's mainly for the stuff I do
Just
after the
Patrick.
episode.
All right,
gets paid
I'll let you put
£5.
how much you want. So we're gonna do barbecue sauce, and what we have left is
You're shaking it up a bit.
we got Jolly Ranchers,
I like the pissy liquid that comes out with it.
Dino Sours, Gumballs. Oh boy, and Sweet Tarts.
How many berries are left there?
There's 2 left.
Shit.
You
I
want-
think I might need another one.
do you want another one first?
Yeah.
They're not working.
Here, I'll pass. One's Kyle's and one's yours, and I'll
I
give
want
you guys each.
barbecue sauce. What do you mean?
Well, I'm giving you a berry first.
Oh, really? Patrick
Yes.
is still good with his?
Me and him are gonna have
We
to
like
tough it
to
out, I
drink
think.
with Patrick. We like to drink with Patrick.
Well, you, sir, are a wordsmith.
I am.
Okay, so the thing
a
that
little
just
drunk. He's
happened though with
feeling
the
the beer.
drinking, is that some sort of like go-to pub song that you guys sing back home, or what was that?
Someone sang
I've
it to
never
me
heard it
once, and
before.
I'm pretty sure I threw up afterwards because I was forced to down a drink that tasted like dog shit.
Was it Guinness?
I mainly have skin here.
Yeah,
This
I got nothing, so you're just gonna have to deal with
there.
it.
Were you drinking Guinness?
I guess this is what you get when you do it with 2 bitches, right?
Yeah.
Excuse me.
We'll split.
Angel.
Okay, so we gotta remember
God
that.
bless.
I didn't wash my hands.
Me neither.
I pissed all over that cake.
Okay, so we got a few things left here. We got one of those
Excuse me.
sour. What would you call this? A sour strip?
Bacon?
Sour
Candy bacon.
sour bacon, candy bacon. So I got 2 flavors here. I got one that's Coke flavored and one that's normal. Which would you
The
guys
roof of
prefer
my
to try?
mouth is on fire.
From the barbecue sauce?
I know I haven't even had the barbecue sauce.
What the fuck?
Probably from the warhead.
How many STIs do you have?
7.
None. I was checked.
So
Yeah.
so the guys are gonna try the barbecue sauce. Then we're gonna try one of these
that-
sour
well,
things.
The guys, what about you?
Yeah, what the
I
fuck?
only have 3 spoons.
No, just drink out of the bottle like a real man.
Yeah. Okay, so who prefers like the straight up sour candy?
All right, barbecue sauce.
We haven't
down
even
my
had the
hatch.
fucking barbecue sauce yet. Let's slow down.
I eat barbecue sauce with my friends. My friends Shane and Patrick. We eat barbecue sauce.
8,
in
7,
3, 2,
6,
1,
5.
go!
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it tastes like barbecue. No. Tastes like sweet barbecue sauce.
Yeah, it does. Did you buy a?
Oh, look at that. It's called Sweet Baby Ray's.
Oh, you fucked it up.
Did I fuck up or did I just get you to eat barbecue sauce?
Start some Guinness on there. That was nice.
Yeah, the barbecue sauce doesn't taste enough like piss. Can I have some more?
All right, you guys split that one. Oh boy. So next we're gonna do these sour strips, and me and Patrick are gonna have this one. Those two are gonna have that one. I think my berries have probably worn off by now. But
Yeah.
My berries.
You got to eat everything quick now.
honestly, no. Though so far, like all that's happened is it just makes me really want like a good lemonade.
My teeth hurt real bad though.
Roof of my mouth is fucking dissolving.
Okay. So we're gonna talk about Madeleine McCann. Do you want to just get that started, and I'll keep handing you guys stuff to try?
Wait a
That was
minute.
pretty
Do
sweet.
you feel loyal to her because you are British as well?
No, pretty much within
Plot twist.
a month
It's his
of,
younger sister.
Within a month of her going
Plot
missing,
twist.
there
Patrick
was-
is Madeleine McCann.
Oh, that's cool. I'll let you guys finish.
Someone find me.
That's not sour.
Oh,
Classic
cavity.
Kenny line there.
Your cavity. Legit. Are you okay?
yeah. I'll be fine.
It's for the pod.
No, this one.
Sour.
No, not at
No,
all.
it's not sour at all.
How do you guys feel about dino sours?
Oh my god.
About what?
Do you know what dino
dinosaurs?
sours are?
Nope.
Kyle, explain to Patrick the North American treasure that is the dino sour.
You ever been to Drumheller? These are shit out of real live dinosaurs.
You ever seen a real fucking dinosaur, Patrick?
And they squish them into candies and add food coloring and taste.
All right. So what he said was a lie.
Okay, so dino sours, if you look at it, it's a sour candy that each color is shaped like a different dinosaur. That's why they're called dino
I'm sure he could have
sours.
pieced that together by looking at it.
No, he couldn't.
I
Look
got a
at
T-Rex.
Look how perplexed he looks.
And I'm gonna
This
eat
isn't
the
a
T-Rex
dinosaur.
head.
Do you guys know what dinosaurs are? Has the rest of the world just been lying to you?
What the fuck is?
Well,
what is it?
So I gotta,
Just tell Canada they're colourful. They'll be fine.
you know, just so you know, I think your idea of dinosaur is different than ours because I think all you guys have overseas is dragons, and we have actual dinosaurs. I think that's the
Roasted.
biggest difference.
I don't think we ever did have dragons. I
Are
think
you-
we ate most of those.
All right, did you guys eat the dinosaurs already?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
tastes the same.
Not sour. Okay, so we got a couple more things here.
Can we talk about Madeleine McCann while we're doing this? Because I'm still fucking.
Yeah, okay. So I know nothing about the subject. Patrick's briefly discussed just the
I'm done
overall
eating.
idea of the case with me.
I'm done eating.
But you want to try the sour gum?
Ooh, actually, maybe yeah. Those are really delicious.
So Patrick gave me the overall idea of Madeleine McCann's story. But now Netflix has a documentary on it. What's it called? Do you guys remember?
The disappearance of Madeleine McCann.
Yeah, it's essentially what happened.
Yeah, it's not a very creative title at all.
Okay, so we're going to eat one of these sour gums and talk about Madeleine McCann. Do you want one of these? So I know nothing about this. Kyle and Patrick have watched the entire Netflix series so far.
Okay.
Why'd you put it back in?
I didn't want the yellow one. I wanted the blue one.
Right, so you couldn't have just took the blue one out?
I'll just go from this side now.
Okay, so Kyle and Patrick are going to discuss it with me. Shane, you said you've seen about half of it already.
Well, yeah, about that.
Just throw the yellow one out.
What's your theory so far?
That's
I don't know.
Is it sour? You guys got second berries too. How's that for you? Sour?
I think they're defective.
Your berry guy really let you down. Patrick, you explain it because you've seen more of it than I have.
He's gonna chew his gum.
I want to know where you're at with it, though.
I gotta say, this gum is really fucking sour.
Oh, hurts my jaw.
It's like gross.
No.
That's it for that. I'm not eating that. That's gross. Are you good?
It's pretty gross, yeah.
You can spit it out if you want. All right,
I'm no bitch.
My jaw hurts. All right, Madeleine McCann. 3-year-old girl?
McCann.
3-year-old girl goes missing in Portugal, I believe.
Is it Portugal?
Yep.
So
Was it Portugal?
I thought you said they were British.
They are British.
Yeah.
They're on vacation.
You can fucking travel,
It's a very popular spot, I guess, for British people to go, this place, the Algarves or something like that.
Well, it's, the Algarve.
Algarve.
It was Praia de Luz or something like that.
Yeah.
Prayer de Luz.
And it's super easy for people to get to places like that because it's just not far to go in England, and you can get a pretty good fare on a plane.
It does look like a really nice place.
Oh yeah, it's gorgeous.
I mean,
Real nice.
I wouldn't take my kids there now, but
Why?
So
Well, we'll get to it.
Yeah.
Chill out. Don't skip parts of the story.
Okay.
So essentially, what happens is
Oh.
family's on vacation one night.
they're out drinking at a restaurant with other people that they met there. Or no, they were friends before. They like two family
they'd went on
friends.
vacation together.
Yeah. So they go on vacation. So these families go on vacation, and they're at a restaurant that's like literally right around the corner. It's like a canopy thing. It's out in the open. They can hear shit that's going on if they want. And they decide to book this place to go eat there every night after they put their kids to bed.
Every night?
Yeah,
They had the
because
same table every night.
Yeah, same table.
They did
Fucking, you turned me down, didn't you?
Well, you were chewing very loudly.
We're all chewing loudly.
Okay, so they booked to go to the same restaurant every night. What was the reason? Was it like close to the hotel? Like
Yeah,
what was-
it's right. It's right beside there. Literally, they said that they can see the apartments that they're staying at from
Okay.
where
Yeah.
they're sitting.
So they did a block booking for the entire week, and they felt quite lucky because it was difficult to get in every night.
okay.
And they also got the same table every night because the
Yeah.
same table would overlook from where their
Yeah.
like hotel room was or their apartment or whatever it was.
That seems like kind of a suspicious detail for them to bring up, though, is that they specifically wanted to look over the hotel room.
Well, it's where
It
their
was
kids
where their
are.
kids were.
They're
They didn't
leaving
take
their
the kids out
sleep
with them.
there. Yeah,
Yeah, they
Wait.
wouldn't take the kids with them.
which is their first mistake.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. That's fucking suspect, though.
Like lots of people, like anyone that I would talk to about this,
I feel like that's what a normal parent would do, so they
Is
can
not
supervise
li-
and make sure that no one goes into their fucking room.
yeah, not a normal parent though. A normal parent that
So,
Well, a
like,
normal parent would bring their kids.
yeah, put it
or
this way: you
not
went on
leave their kids
vacation
alone.
to a place that you've probably never been before,
yeah.
and you are leaving your kids alone with the door unlocked.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
okay, so what was the reasoning behind that then?
Well, basically, they were taking it in turns to go and look at the kids.
Like
So-
they said every like 15, 20 minutes,
Yeah.
someone from the table, and I think there was 8 of them, would get up and go look at, check on
they'd
all the
just do a
children.
quick run through of the rooms, make sure
Yeah.
everything was fine.
8 people.
Yeah,
So let me guess. One of the suspects
There was
happens
4
to be one of the 8.
there was 4
No.
couples, so there was four sets of kids essentially.
Yeah.
Oh, so there was a lot of fucking kids.
Yeah.
I think
bunch of
there
kids.
was. I think they said there was 7 kids. No, 8 kids.
Yeah, there was a few.
Altogether.
And they couldn't have just done it so that they had like one couple stay in with all of the kids one night and they alternate couples watching the kids
They
instead.
could have, and that's,
Oh, yeah.
that's
Definitely
kind of
could've.
what I
But I mean,
think
they're on
they fucked up
vacation,
with.
so
Yeah.
That doesn't matter. If
Yeah.
you don't bring your fucking kids if you want to go on vacation
So
without
they-
kids.
She goes back to the room, or the mum goes back to the
well.
room.
Also, keep in mind this is a late night. This is like a late night drinking thing that they're doing. Like they're not.
Yeah.
They're not. Like it's past the kids' bedtime.
Yeah,
They're not-
the kids are essentially asleep.
The kids are not-
and
they're
have
not-
been for a couple hours.
Yeah, they're not going to bring kids out to watch the parents get drunk.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's also, you got to think too, this was quite a few years ago before there was a need to worry about things like this. I mean, yes, worrying about your kids is pretty...
That's so 1990s.
I mean, it's common sense, but like back then wasn't as bad.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
when it comes
was
to it,
more
you didn't-
relaxed.
It
was more
wasn't. It
relaxed.
wasn't like over and over and over again. You're hearing about things in the news of kids going missing, things like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't red flags everywhere to do this. So.
Yeah, they left the kids on their own. Then Madeleine's mum goes. It's her turn to check on the kids, so she goes. And as she walks in the room, she basically just starts screaming, "They've taken her!"
Yeah. Comes
Which
running
was-
out screaming, and like from the room, the other couples can hear them.
Yeah, but
Like, hear her
that's
screaming.
strange in itself, because if you walked into the room, which you knew your child was in, what would your first reaction be if you saw them missing?
Well, obviously you're going to scream, but I mean, what? Like,
What? No.
no.
Would you scream?
Or would you look around?
You've left the door unlocked.
Well,
As far as you're aware, she was asleep.
so is it literally as soon as she walked in, like, or like how was her
Well, also,
story?
so what happened was she walked in, she opened the door. The bed that Madeline was sleeping in was to the left. When you open the door would cover the bed.
Yeah.
So you walk in, there was another bed there. I think there was like maybe the parents' bed.
Yeah.
That was there. That was obviously empty. There's a window over the bed. That was opened. So you open the door. You see that there's your normal bed. Nothing weird about that. And you see the windows open, and then you look, and then you see that your kid's gone.
Okay.
So I mean, intuition kind of, or your instincts kind of piece everything together, maybe jump to a conclusion.
Right. And you wouldn't freak out about that and like scream and be
I
like,
don't know.
"Oh shit!"
I'm not a parent.
My
Right.
instant reaction wouldn't be to think that they'd been
Been
kidnapped.
taken.
She's a
I would
3-year-old
look
girl.
everywhere.
No, not necessarily kidnapped, but like
that's
could
what
have
she
ended up
said.
out the window if that was her first instinct.
It was on the bottom
to-
floor.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like the thing is, what was reported is she opened the door, saw that her daughter was missing, and started screaming they had taken her.
Sorry. What happened was she opened the door. I remember this because I watched this like 2 days ago. She opened the door. No, she walked into the room, and the door was open more than what she had left it.
No.
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 That's exactly how I remember
That
it.
was the guy that checked on them before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Later in the episode, you find that there was a guy, one of the other parents went to check on her, and he noticed the door was actually slightly open. And he could see a light coming in through the room because the window was slightly open. But he could also hear something rustling about, so he just assumed it was Madeline turning over.
Yeah. And that's the
And
other thing.
He
is
didn't
these,
go in the room to check.
Yeah, these other parents that are checking on the kids are probably checking on their kids,
Right.
physically checking on them,
Yeah.
and then walking by the other room where the other
Yeah. Not my
kids
kid. I don't
are,
give a
and
fuck.
just being like, okay, the door's open a crack, everything seems normal,
Yeah.
whatever.
I wouldn't even fucking go.
So
in
she
there.
runs out the
I
room
wouldn't even go in the
screaming that they've
apartments.
taken her. Screaming at the
Yeah.
top of her lungs, and
Wait, so
they call the police.
I just have one quick question because I'm kind of confused now. All the kids were in the parents' rooms, like so they
Yeah.
were all in
Yeah.
separate rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same
I was
apartment,
picturing
separate
it.
rooms.
I was picturing it that they were all in the same.
no,
But the McCanns also had twins
yeah,
who were in the same room as Madeline.
So there was 3 kids in the room when she went missing.
in their room, yeah.
The twins were unharmed.
Okay, that's. I mean, they must have been ugly twins. I guess is the only explanation.
He looks suspicious carrying 3 fucking babies down the street.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, you couldn't really just fit them in your t-shirt, could you? So yeah, they call the police, and it
Yeah, those
takes
your
the
babies?
police something like 3 hours
yeah.
to arrive.
3 hours for the cops to arrive.
Yeah, and they have to call them more than once to actually get them to turn up. So they say that she's been kidnapped.
Also, this is like a really safe resort, and this kind of stuff doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Like, what are
Yeah.
the, what are
Right.
the-
The
So-
police aren't equipped to deal with something like this at
Right.
all.
So is it proven that it took the cops 3 hours, or was it just them like hearsay for the timeline?
It took them a long time to arrive. I can't remember the exact amount of time, but it took them a long time. They also had to call them twice.
And did the
Yeah.
police have a response to that?
Yeah, their response was to
Fuck your
place police cars all across all the highways.
Well, I just mean like their excuse for taking 3 hours.
No, they didn't have an excuse. So they put police cars across basically the exits to Portugal.
But it started raining, and
So they just went back and sat inside their cars.
Sat in their cars
They
until
would,
the rain quit.
they were checking no vehicles whatsoever.
And the reason they give for this neglect of how they did things is because they never deal with these situations, and so they said everyone was untrained.
It just wasn't taken seriously whatsoever. But think of this, right? So Portugal is essentially in Europe,
Oh, okay.
but it's landlocked with every country in that area.
Right.
Within 2 hours, she could have been in, she could have been 2 countries across.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't take long, and because it's Europe, it's open borders.
Yeah.
You probably have to pay a toll to get through them. I've never had to cross a border in Europe. I've never seen what that's like.
What countries border Portugal?
I don't know. Let me check Google
France?
Maps. I think something like that, yeah.
Okay, so she finds out her daughter's missing. She calls the cops. It takes 3 hours for the cops to show up. What are they doing in that 3 hours? Are they looking for her?
Yeah,
Are
everybody
they...
at the resort.
Everybody
at the resort
looking in all
immediately starts looking.
Like all the fields around there, all the bushes, like everything, all the
There's-
all the
there's
streets.
They start combing. They start
Yeah.
like physically combing
Yeah,
everything.
there's hundreds of people looking for it. Because there's a lot of British tourists there.
People are
So-
looking in all of their apartments, all the neighbors' apartments. Like every single person's place was getting checked.
Yeah.
But also, while they were waiting for the cops to show up, there was about, like I think they said, 20 some people going through their apartment and moving shit around.
Yeah,
Before
so-
the cops went there.
Oh, yeah,
Any-
they're just rustling
Yeah.
through.
Any evidence
the
in that room
McCanns.
is gone.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely
And especially because
destroyed.
it took 3 hours. There's no
Yeah.
way of preserving it. So what was the reasoning that so many people were going through their room? Was it just because everybody was looking for
Everyone
her?
was
Looking for the
panicking,
kid, yeah.
But there was no reason for 4 or 5 people to look inside the room.
And like they even
Did you
and
guys
they
check? Did you guys check the closet though?
and they say in the
I'll check the
documentary,
closet.
they say in the documentary that, and I agree with it. If it was your child that went missing, there's no way I would let a single fucking person go in that room
Yeah.
to disturb
Right.
any
Exactly.
evidence.
Right. But the issue with that though is when you're in shock, you can't really process how you react to things.
If you
That's-
went into
that's the
shock,
only-
you would
I
be-
honestly, I feel like that'd be the last thing I think about.
Yeah, that's like the
that'd
only
probably
thing
be
I
the
can
first
think
thing I would
of.
think about.
Yeah.
Freaking out.
But like I said, it's easy to say, but until you have you been in shock very often in your life? Like genuine shock?
I have.
Yeah, we watched The Greasy Strangler.
Yeah, I don't know. It's,
Because you're like everything freezes essentially, and
yeah.
Well, then no, I haven't.
you don't think, right? Like
So the fact that happened and they let people go through there,
It's just like a whirlwind of bad
with
bad
a
circumstances.
with a bunch of other questionable things that happened, the police kind of start to ask the parents
Well-
as suspects.
Yeah, before that, everyone was fair game, essentially. So they were
Yeah.
questioning all of the parents that were involved, everyone. And there were slight inconsistencies with each of their stories, like with each of the timelines. But
as in
that's
like with them checking the kids.
but
and
that's
stuff?
usually indicative that they're telling the truth. If every single one of them had gone in with a dead straight timeline,
right.
what are the chances that you know exactly when?
And they've
all of
also
you have
all been
exactly
drinking, right?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So because of that, the Portuguese police were like,
Yeah, the only
"Okay, fair
and the
enough."
only thing that was separating their hotel room from where they were eating was just like literally a pool. So essentially,
Yeah.
you're looking. It's like eating lunch.
Well, there's like a set of trees, like bushes or whatever there.
Yeah,
but
I don't think it had a clear sight line
Yeah.
of their apartment.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people started saying. But there was
and then there was a woman, Jane Tanner.
yeah, she said that she saw a guy
Yeah.
carrying a girl in pajamas away.
There was also this really awful fucking the Jane
jar.
Tanner. Yeah, go ahead. Continue.
Yeah, so she seems to think that she saw a dude carrying a girl out.
And Jane Tanner was one of the friends that
Yeah.
was at the dinner. So she said when she did her check on the children as she was walking to it, because you have to like come around the corner and walk like half a block but you can see everything.
That's where the door was. The door was like located on the street.
Yeah. And so as she was walking there, she said at the time didn't think anything of it, but she saw someone carrying a child, like, well, she said their child, whatever, down the street. And then after she realized that they were carrying it like how you would
not like you would carry your own child.
Like if you were to carry your child, you would be holding it like head on your chest kind of thing, and from under, like your other hand under the butt. They were carrying it like in their arms.
But it is quite funny because later on in the documentary, this guy comes out and said, "I think that was actually me with my daughter."
Because they were discrediting that you'd never carry your daughter that way.
So part of me thinks that he didn't come clean sooner because he was carrying her like a full-on bloke.
He's carrying like a loaf of bread.
Fucking
just
and his
swinging.
wife was probably sat there like, "Fucking hell, if you were ever carrying our daughter." Like that. And he's like, no, I wouldn't dream of that.
2 years later, they get a divorce, and he's like, "Yeah, it was me."
And he's carrying her as like everybody's looking for the baby. He's like, if anyone fucking finds out I'm carrying her like this, don't tell my fucking wife you saw me. You fucking tell her, I'll swear to God I'll find you.
The police were essentially looking for all of these random leads.
Yeah.
And just nothing was working. Nothing.
And then someone someone was like, oh yeah, it's like they asked that Jane girl to fucking
do a police sketch.
They literally just posted like a fucking, because he didn't see her face. You didn't see his face, so there was no eyes, no lips or anything.
It was an egg with a hair.
It was an egg with hair. I remember the cop was like, I don't even know why they fucking posted that.
It was awful.
They were just so desperate to like get something out there, and they were like, wow.
Jesus.
So after a little while, they start getting the British police involved as well. So they send over some sniffer dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And this is like maybe a month after she's still been missing.
Yeah.
Like she's still missing. There is no fucking trace of her. There was no DNA evidence in the room whatsoever.
Did they have?
They before this happened, they also accused another guy, a civilian.
Yeah, Peter.
He was
Morat or something like that.
He was just
Robert
a guy.
Murat.
Yeah, he was just a guy that was walking around the street, a civilian trying to help, very interested in what was going on.
He'd retired and moved to Portugal years ago, so he could speak Spanish, and he was like one of the few people there that could speak fluently in both languages.
So he was just trying to help.
But he was being overly helpful.
Yeah.
Like,
and there was
which is suspect. Yeah, that's
the only
super
reason
suspect.
People thought that he was being suspect is because there was a case in England not long before that, where there was a guy being super helpful with this investigation,
and he was the perpetrator.
He was the murderer of these two young girls.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
and there was I can't remember what show it was. Mindhunter. One of the killers was like one of those super helpful. It was that big tall guy with the mustache.
Yeah, Ed Kemper.
Ed Kemper. Ed Kemper was always super helpful. Always would talk to the cops and stuff like that. And then
and then you later found out he decapitated his mother and fucked her head.
Yeah. So if this is
can't relate.
So that's Portugal, right?
Okay.
But this is what it's landlocked with.
Okay, so Portugal's landlocked with
everything.
Spain, and is it landlocked with everything though?
Yeah, everything that you see on this map, you could drive to.
Okay, so it's just got a bridge going in then.
Mm-hmm. Well, you could most likely get a ferry from Portugal or from Gibraltar to.
So you would have thought their very first thing would have been to start locking down the ferries then.
Yeah. But they didn't.
That's what they should have done.
Right.
But they had never had anything like this happen. Right. So they didn't know what to do.
Yeah. They weren't stopping vehicles on the way out. They weren't checking anything.
So really all they were doing was questioning
Portugal's
people.
Only landlocked with Spain, essentially.
Well, but
just like a random thing.
Also,
if I get up, I'm just fixing the camera. So
also, Morocco was super close, and Morocco has like a really high child trafficking sex slave.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this is why it's so high in Europe, because it's so easy to move around.
Yeah. So at this point in the documentary, they're trying to accuse this Robert guy of being the person who took him. So they get him. They say, "Yeah, you're being so helpful. Blah blah blah. Come down to the police station, and we'll." We just need to.
Questions.
No, I think they tricked him and told him they needed him to be an interpreter.
Yeah.
Oh
for
yeah, yeah,
someone.
that's what it was.
So he came down to the police station. They locked him in a room for what was it, like 18 hours?
Yeah, he was there for 16, 18 hours.
And
constant questioning.
while they were questioning him, they were tearing apart his property, like ripping up all of his garden and everything, looking for this girl.
So this guy was who?
Robert Muir.
The guy who was a helpful civilian.
Yeah, he'd retired and bought a holiday home there, and then he was living in Portugal, I think.
And it was a coincidence, but also not, that his place was like literally across the street from the restaurant. But I mean, that's how he knew about it right away and was being a civilian helping.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think he owned a club there too, didn't he?
Yeah, something like
probably.
that. Yeah.
So I'm just going to interrupt right now and just ask straight up. Shane, from what you know, what is your theory about what happened to this girl?
Well, I just got to the point, spoiler alert, by the way, I just got to the point where they think it might be Madeleine's parents behind it.
Okay.
But like I haven't continued watching it, so there's no evidence supporting their...
Yeah, I can tell you, before watching this documentary, I was fucking convinced that the parents did it.
So was I.
Convinced.
Okay, so...
Liars!
So now, Kyle, what's your theory? And then we'll go to Patrick. And then we'll get back into the story from here.
From what you find out after they accuse the parents, and the people that meet the parents and vouch for them and everything like that, I think that it was a child.
Like sex
I don't know if it would be like a sex ring or what, but child, like they steal a child for people that can't have children.
Yeah, so for wealthy couples, they will kidnap young kids. Because
So
like, what
it's
can you
kind of
remember
like
from
a Craigslist service?
what
then?
can you
So-
remember from when you were 3?
Yeah. So like
I remember being left alone in Walmarts and
Guy, it looks like
stuff
my
quite
dad.
a
Like
bit.
from straight
So-
up when you were 3 years old, you remember being 3 years old.
Yeah, probably.
no.
There's probably like a little bit I remember.
No.
I doubt it.
I definitely remember playing in a sandbox when I was like very, very young. And I was probably about 3 because it was when we lived in the
So-
house Kyle lived in when he was born.
So anyways,
But yeah, anyway, I think for most people, that's when you start developing your memories is after 3 years old, right?
Yeah, I can tell you now I can't remember anything from I can't remember anything super clear.
Right.
from
And you
before I
haven't been
was, like,
drinking today?
4 years old, maybe.
He did drink a lot of that fucking piss taste Guinness.
Okay. But yeah, all jokes aside,
it's a really good documentary to watch.
Yeah.
The case is very interesting, and it's still hasn't been solved, which is
Yeah, she's been missing for
insane to
11
me.
Which was a fucking pain in the ass when I started episode 1. It was like, if you have any information on where Madeleine is, I was like, oh, they didn't find her. I was like, oh, I know how this ends already.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck Netflix.
It
Fuck.
the things that come up in the case that make you think that it was the parents are like when they brought the dogs in, like
Yeah, so
was
that's
saying.
what I was going to mention about the dogs. They bought 2 different dogs. They bought a cadaver dog
right.
and a blood dog.
Like a normal tracking dog.
Yeah, so one dog would smell the scent of a corpse,
Right.
and the other one would be able to smell blood.
Okay.
And they found both in the McCann's apartment.
And in the back of their rented SUV that they
But-
rented after.
Yeah, a month
Like,
after she went missing, they
went
rented
missing.
this car, and they found both in that car as well.
How do you find
The
both?
dogs sniffed
Like, what did
out.
they find?
The dogs sniffed out either blood, and
Well, they sniffed out
or-
blood and the smell of a corpse in the same
Yeah.
area, both dogs
and
independently.
so this got released to the public like instantly,
Yeah.
and so people were like, wow, like the family did it. There's a big huge thing going on, right?
Right. Kind of like the John Bonet case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
there was fucking outrage in
Yeah.
England. Everyone was going
Yeah.
fucking crazy.
Like these
about
people are fucking liars.
Oh, you turned my mic off.
They
Met the
people-
Pope too. Like it was like this huge publicity tour. Everyone's like, oh,
Well,
why are they doing that? But, like,
so
it makes
before
sense.
the family got accused, they people were all on their side and trying everything they could to help find this lady. And then the parents get accused of it, and people are like, "Fuck you guys for making us
Yeah.
do everything."
There was
to
fucking
help you."
outrage.
Like,
One of
people
the
were
things
so
that
upset.
people were confused about is that you never saw them crying.
Yeah. And
Well,
that's
you
what
saw
made it-
you saw the woman cry, but you never see the guy cry.
Barely.
Yeah.
I feel like every clip that I saw from like the first 3 episodes, the wife was just fucking bawling.
She always looked
Right.
like she was upset, but you'd never like see her crying.
No.
Really.
But one of the things I've learned, because I listen to true crime podcasts weekly, I listen to there's 6 or 7 I listen to every week, and one of the big things is people in the past have been prosecuted or not like legally, but by other people, just based on the fact that they aren't reacting the way that you would want them to react in that situation.
Yeah.
And the thing is with, like I said, with shock, with grief, you can't predict how you're going to react to situations. So some people might cry, some people won't. Like there's people who kill their children and will cry. There's people who don't kill their children and just don't cry just because they just process everything differently, right?
But this was why everyone in England at this point was like, oh yeah, the parents fucking definitely did it.
Yeah, because
without a doubt.
they were just against them from what they've been told.
There
and
was
the
so
fact
much
that
evidence coming
they
out of
seemed-
Portugal that it was the parents.
Right.
And nothing
out of the
else.
police department was basically putting the blame on them.
Yeah.
So
I
when
remember the one cop said he met with Madeleine McCann's dad, and he's like, right away, he's like, I fucking hated him. Fuck this
yeah,
guy.
like they were basically slandering them, and they questioned them on it.
Yeah, there was.
The thing that really fucked them over was they had DNA testing done in the apartment and in the back of their SUV, and the
Like
DNA,
the rental one?
yeah, and
Okay.
the DNA, they were doing it. They had to do like 2 different tests, and they didn't have.
They had
didn't
a
have
preliminary report.
Yeah.
Which they sent back to the Portuguese police, and the Portuguese police used that
leaked
as
it.
evidence.
Like someone, they never said who it was, but someone leaked it that it was 80% match to Madeleine.
Yeah, but realistically, the preliminary report said that it may be a trace of blood.
Yeah,
There
it
is
didn't
a
even
possibility.
say.
But then the report later came back and said that the fabric that they got a sample of was too small of an amount.
So did they did they come in any like motive reason, any reasons for why they would want to either murder their child?
So
or...
the one idea that I had for why they might maybe want to kill their own daughter.
Yeah.
So my main theory was,
because he was a surgeon, he had money. It's not like they were struggling.
yeah,
Right.
my main theory was that the mum always wanted twins, right?
Mm-hmm.
She always wanted twins, but when they first had a kid, they probably struggled initially to actually have a pregnancy.
Who the fuck wants something that's specific?
And they eventually did have twins, though, you mentioned, right?
And how fucking lucky are you to have twins after you want twins?
Yeah, so she didn't have twins first time around, and she had a daughter. She was like, okay, this is fine. But they tried again, and they had twins. So she now had this perfect family.
Is there a way to just have twins? Like, do you have to have sex on like
There-
the full moon?
I think they're working on something like
It's got to be like the Friday before Good.
But the
some
Friday.
sort of in vitro thing. They're working on different things like that to kind of double impregnate eggs. They're trying to do shit like that to see how it works. I don't know if anything's been scientifically proven, but yeah.
How high are your standards though, where you just have to have twins? Like, I need.
Well,
twins.
you have to be a surgeon's wife, I think.
he was a surgeon, and she did something in.
She was also a
too.
doctor. Yeah.
Yeah.
They were both registered.
So if there was any way of having twins, they would probably know the techniques to make it any better.
That's such a.
Did you guys hear that?
yeah.
What the hell? That is fucking
neighbors
creepy. What the fuck?
What is fucking going on?
Madeline?
That was the weirdest fucking thing I've ever experienced.
Pause it.
Yeah. Pause it and turn it up.
Play it back, you mean?
No, just
turn it up.
Turn it up, and no one say anything. I think your neighbors are getting the shit beat out of them right now. Fuck man, my heart was going. I thought I was like gonna walk in on a murder as we're talking about murder.
I thought the murder happened like years ago, and we were hearing ghosts. Kenny, your fucking place is haunted. Get the fuck out.
Okay, so we're recording again. That was fucking scary.
So there's kids playing next door, or there's a murder going on. We don't know, and we don't want to check. So, back to Madeline.
And yeah, that was fucking scary. So
Who
I'm gonna
also
try
may be
and
dead.
I'm gonna try and enhance it for listeners so they can hear what we
Great
kind of heard.
segue.
You know what though? Do you guys think we would have picked that up if we had headphones on though?
No.
No.
100% not.
No, because we would have been listening to each other.
Fucking hell, man! Good thing we got
Yes.
headphones then, because that was a fucking creepy.
You probably
time to
would have
pick that
heard it,
up.
and we would have been like, "Yeah, Kenny's voices in his head again."
Oh man. Okay.
No, Kenny, put the fire down. Good one, LOL. Anyways, back to Patrick, because she wanted twins. And Patrick.
Yes, so I think that she potentially wanted twins. And
Still, like, such a... like, that... Okay, yeah, now I think she's crazy because she wants such... Like, I want to, like...
No, but they never said that. This is Patrick's theory.
Okay, so what's your theory, Patrick? Is that the parents had something to do with it?
no.
No, this is just his first initial theory. He said.
Fuck then.
He said this was his initial theory.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Let him finish.
What would be the reason that they think the parents did it though? Besides
So,
that
okay.
the mom wanted
the
twins.
reason they think the parents did it is because the parents were super weird people. They found the smell of a blood in their apartment and the smell of a corpse,
Okay.
and that's it.
At this
They're
point,
the
they
main
were
reasons.
So
At
there's
this
real
point-
no evidence besides the blood and
no.
nothing.
the evidence is all
Circumstantial.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What they say, like a theory that they talk about in the documentary is that the parents gave their kids like a sleeping pill, which they would have because they're both fucking doctors, to put their kids to sleep so they can sleep through the night while they're out.
Right. So they drugged
And-
their kids so the kids wouldn't
and they-
need anything.
and they
while
think-
they
Kind
were-
of party.
And they think that maybe the daughter had too much and passed away, and they tried covering it up. That was one of the theories. That was
right. That would make sense.
It wouldn't.
Except because
no,
they're
because
doctors.
why did they
sense.
find blood?
No, my fucking confusion with that is where the fuck did they get time to do this? Where in the holiday
Well,
did the parents get the chance to hide Madeleine's body?
Exactly, that's what they're saying.
Because they didn't have a car
Yeah.
until a month after.
Which is what they're saying in the documentary. They said that maybe they put her in a freezer until they got the car and then ditched the body.
But the police wouldn't have looked in the freezer.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't make
Well,
sense.
the police didn't do
the
their
police
jobs
did-
properly in the first place.
We could all agree on that.
So we can't really rule out that they didn't look in a spot.
and they could have
Because-
You're
put
telling
it.
me one person
Here's
out
a,
of the
here's a
fucking-
prime example: the John Benet Ramsey case.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know anything about that case?
No.
Very similar thing. Little girl went missing. Nobody knew what happened. The dad didn't know where they were. Police went in and out of that house for 3 days. I believe it was 3 days, a really long time. Didn't find anything till the dad was kind of like, maybe we should check the wine cellar. Has anybody checked the wine cellar? And they went down to the wine cellar and the girl's body was down there. Nobody checked the
I thought it
wine
was the
cellar for
basement.
3 days.
I thought it was the basement.
Well, it was their wine cellar. But yeah, like, so that's the thing is police don't always do their jobs properly. That's fucking
Yeah,
terrifying.
dude, it's really fucking creeping me out.
Scary as shit.
But yeah, so
Parents
like,
did it.
especially if like they don't do their jobs properly when it comes to blocking the appropriate roadways off and stuff and like checking cars and stuff, you can't really rule out that they wouldn't check like a freezer or
Yeah.
something.
So, Patrick,
either.
what is your theory on this?
Well, you can tell us your theory when we get closer to it in the story as well, if you feel like it's going to give away too much. Because maybe you and Kyle have different theories, and we're going to reach those crossroads up ahead here. But,
Yeah.
okay, so going ahead from...
So they're
From
blaming
that.
the family at this point.
Yep.
And the family at this point is like, if we stay here any longer, we're just going to get arrested, and then we're not going to do any good finding our daughter.
So they were named something called a Guido, which I think is like a suspect.
Yeah.
A Guido?
And it means
Yeah.
that they can be called back to Portugal at any moment for further questioning.
Yeah. So they
So
went
Pauly
home.
D's on the list then.
Yeah.
So they went home, and from home, they like
that beat
their
up.
story blew up all over everything. Like, and tons of people are hearing about it, blah blah blah. And then they hire like a
Private investigator?
sort of a private investigator, but
Well, they
he's
don't
kind of like a
hire anyone.
public
A dick?
They hired like that
publicist.
publicist
Yeah.
guy,
Publicist.
whatever, to try and help them in a way like clear their name, I guess.
It was basically so they had a face that wasn't theirs
Yeah.
for the case because there was just reporters everywhere.
Yeah.
Fucking rammed.
And the people in Portugal, the Portuguese people, is what I was trying to say, didn't like that because I think right after Madeleine went missing, another child went missing.
Wait, really?
And and there was no publicity about it.
Yeah, his child got no response.
There was no
whatsoever.
reporters.
Was it
nothing.
another white little girl?
No,
No,
it was
it was a Portuguese girl.
Right.
Which is,
Portuguese
and the
girl.
heartbreaking thing is that there's this in Geneva they have this, not Geneva, maybe Geneva. Yeah, it was Geneva. Geneva they have this list of what happened was they found it was called the Wonderland case.
Yeah.
And in the Wonderland case, they found a bunch of pictures of a bunch of kids on a bunch of different pedophiles' computers. It was like a high-ranking. What the Wonderland thing would do is people would steal kids,
Right.
sell them to wealthy,
like pedophiles or
wealthy pedophiles. I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
I mean, if you fuck a
So
kid, you're
so
a
they'd
pedophile.
make videos of these kids,
and pictures and take pictures of it.
yeah,
shit.
and whatever, and then they'd post them on basically like a
Like the dark net.
Kijiji for
Like a dark web.
picking out a kid,
Kijiji.
and then you'd
A
go
buy and
on
sell
there and you'd be
page.
like, I like that one, how much? And they'd
Yeah,
find a way
or
to
like,
get
do you have
they
this
get
one
the
in,
kid you.
Do you have this one in blonde?
Yeah,
Yikes.
and
And
so
then this woman whose kid went missing was flown out to Geneva after they found this Wonderland thing, and she found him in that, but obviously like they didn't find Madeleine in that.
So
And-
did that woman find her kid then?
She found her kid. Yeah, she didn't find him physically. She found his.
she
picture.
found him on there, so
which-
she knew that he was sold.
Yeah, she knew that he was stolen and sold.
I'm gonna have to pause this for a second again. Okay,
Pussy.
we were hearing more voices, and we just wanted to make sure that no children next door were being kidnapped by. Jesus Christ!
You have to bear with us.
Well, listeners kind of get what we're going through then, because I'm assuming most people are listening to this on headphones, and if you're not, you should probably go back and listen to that because that's fucked up. Okay, so the Geneva Wonderland thing, she found her kid. Was her kid alive? How did that
Well,
happen?
they never found her kid. They found pictures of her kid. They
Yeah,
found
once
they found
the kid-
evidence that her child was sold.
So she never found that trail to
No.
her kid then?
No, because they. Well, yeah, no, she's
Yeah.
Right.
Once
And-
the kid gets sold into that ring, they are gone forever.
Right, and this is another avenue that they've explored for Madeleine then?
Yeah, they checked.
Yeah.
They checked that.
And there's no leads.
No, there's no photos of Madeleine anywhere.
Okay.
Oh, and Madeleine has like a birthmark on her eyeball.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Whoa.
It's
So
like
her-
her pupil kind of.
yeah. So she's
leaks
very
a
very
bit. It's
distinctive.
weird.
Ooh,
Yeah, it's like she's got like a little black strip just beneath her pupil.
interesting. I've never heard of
Looks
that.
like the female sign.
Yeah,
kind
kind
of.
Okay, so
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the kid up.
okay, so
It's really hard to concentrate with.
I know.
Yeah, it really
so
is.
so what happened next then? You were talking about the Geneva thing, so that was another lead they followed up. They had the publicist for the parents.
Oh, fuck, I can't say
Yeah,
it.
so he was the
Publicist,
face of the case. He was dealing with all the press, talking to them all, telling them to basically just fuck off because they're trying to live a
And
normal life.
to help get their story more out there, and
So-
with that,
Did they
there's-
fuck off then? Because to
No.
me
Say
that
it
would be
again,
more
Patrick?
suspicious.
No, the media really has only died down quite recently, I think.
So
This happened years ago too.
so their story is getting more and more known, and they get contacted by, is it that
Netflix?
like billionaire guy
Yeah, it's
first?
this Scottish guy.
Yeah.
And he's
Got
like-
more
Are
money
we
than he
past
knows
your
what to
point?
do with.
Yeah.
We're past your point at this point.
Yeah, can we stop this? Because I want to watch. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so he's worth something like £250 million. Wow. Which is an unbelievable amount of money. So this guy has money to fucking burn. So he starts funding the investigation single-handedly because the police have stopped completely.
Yeah.
There is not a police force on the planet at this point looking for the girl.
So what's his motive for funding it? Just out of goodwill then
Yeah.
at this point?
Literally just out of goodwill. So he
He
hires...
liked their story. He had a
He wanted it optioned for Netflix. It was an investment.
Listen, I hope you find your kid, but
he had an interview with them, right? And
Yeah.
in
When
his
Netflix
interview, he vouched for them and was like, right off the bat, he's like, I believe them, and like they seem like genuine people to him,
Yeah.
and he's like, I have a really, really good judge of character because I've dealt with a lot of fucking scumbags.
Yeah, and that was the weird thing for me as well. Every single person that met the
Yeah.
parents individually walked out of there like, nah, there's no way they did it. Not a fucking chance.
So either they're very good actors,
Yeah, I feel like as a person, you can kind of get vibes from people.
really, because people love Ted Bundy. Everyone was like, "Yeah, he's a nice guy. He's charming."
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's true. It's weird.
You never heard anyone go, "Oh, well, Ted Bundy, you know, he's a little weird guy."
Creep me out.
Yeah, I guess you never really fucking know. But the parents didn't seem like the sort.
Yeah.
You know,
They never do, though. That's the
They
thing.
weren't charming in any way.
And
if
also-
anything, most people thought they were quite rude.
And also, if you were gonna get rid of your daughter, why would you do it on vacation where you have no control?
Yeah.
And not just in your own town.
Probably, well, they're doctors.
Easy to get away with.
Yeah, it makes it less suspect. There's less trails for them to follow that lead back to them.
Yeah, but the biggest thing of why the story blew up so big was because this never happens there, and it's a big tourist spot, and they didn't want anything like your children can go missing here.
Right.
In
They
a
didn't want
public.
that negative press.
Portugal wanted it to be the parents.
Yeah, because
And
they just
so-
wanted it done.
So earlier when you said you'd never take your kids there, is that just because of this one incident, or what was your reasoning?
So after it happened, lots of things came out about other kids being taken from, not from this exact resort, but from other places around there.
Yeah, Portugal in itself had something like 100 open missing children
All
cases.
around like the same ages and
Yeah.
stuff.
In like what
Is
time
that a
frame?
lot though?
100?
In a small
In a
Yeah,
small
small
place like Portugal?
yeah.
That's
In-
probably quite a few.
Yeah, and also in a very particular age group.
Yeah.
It's just like between 3 and 5 years old. 100
Yeah.
kids.
So they start investigating it more, and there's so many people that start coming forward about seeing suspicious people in the area, knocking on doors and asking for donations to charity, not a charity, but
It was an orphanage.
an orphanage, which there's no orphanage
there's-
in Portugal.
Not a single one.
But there was 3 or 4 guys that were descriptively.
Yeah. But there was one guy in particular who came to this lady's door and he was talking to her, but he wasn't looking at her. He was staring at her kid next to her for the whole time. And then the day after, she walks downstairs and he is sat in the living room next to her child.
Yeah, and just books it out.
So
there.
he let himself in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The day after.
and was
And she
talking-
catches him talking to her kid, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
he escapes.
and then he just fucking books it.
Wow.
And so they try and follow up on like leads and the description of the one guy, that guy, he has like longer shaggy hair and blah blah blah. So then they're like, oh, maybe that's the guy that this Anne sees. They get like a police sketch drawing done, and people right away are like, it's this guy, and are saying like this guy's known in Portugal, blah blah blah. And apparently they checked over him and nothing came up. But just videos, video surveillance of this guy walking around and stuff, you catch him in the documentary, like checking out younger girls.
Like how
times.
young though?
Like 6, 7 years
Yeah,
old.
okay,
kind of
that's
thing.
I thought you were talking like 18.
No,
I was
like I noticed like 2 or 3 times in just the surveillance. He's like at different
you can tell he's
trading
looking
places,
for,
and he looks like he's always like, staring off
Yeah,
to
he's always
where
around where a
kids
large
are.
group of kids would be.
Yeah.
So what's the backstory on this guy other than that? They
Apparently
found out
he
who
was
he
looked
was.
into and nothing
Yeah,
came back.
nothing.
So they cleared him.
Yeah, they were like following him around for a good month.
Yeah.
So at this point, do you
This-
guys
so
feel like the police might have
The funny
involvement?
thing about that guy in particular, this is the sketch of him, right?
Okay, yeah, that's the one that I sent you the other day. There's
Yeah.
so
But-
do you guys feel like the police could have some sort of involvement in this case? In
Like,
like
you
not
mean-
necessarily this, but like the child trafficking, like helping cover it
Could
up.
be.
Maybe they're pretending
that's,
they're covering their bases. Maybe that's why a lot of the cops didn't do their due diligence when
That
she was
is
missing.
it is a theory, but you can't really say for sure, right? Like that's
Well, so this is what I'm getting so far out of everything, is there's been a lot of negligence on the police end so far, from what
Yeah,
I'm getting from the
huge
story.
amount.
And with 100
Is
kids
that
going
negligence
missing,
or is it incompetence or is it being unprepared?
it sounds like it's both because
Well,
if you
I'd say there's 3 different ways. You could purposely do it. You could do it not purposely,
Yeah.
and you could just not
I
be
think-
equipped. You could do your best, but not be
right,
equipped for it.
but it's probably both. Like I'm
I
not saying
think
all
the-
of the police are corrupt, but I'm saying
Yeah.
there's probably a few that are in on it that are just like
I think the on duty cops just weren't trained in it, when it came to the people higher up, they could have something to do with it.
In a country like Portugal, that first hour of the reported missing person is crucial.
Right, and they waited three.
They completely fucked it.
So what I'm wondering is maybe anytime there's a missing child, the thing that happens, because we've just discussed that there's been over 100 in this area, that maybe the police have some sort of thing, like it's not all of them, but some of them are probably doing things to...
If you consider the amount of money that probably goes into that industry, you know, the child sex industry.
Right.
They most likely would have the opportunity to buy out some particular detectives.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And also the head, I don't know, not the head detective, but like basically the head, the police chief of the place when this originally happened got canned.
He got fired
for negligence, wasn't it? And slander and blah, blah, blah.
They received a lot of pressure from the UK government to fire him.
Because he was like, they did an investigation on him and the way he does his work, and it was just
it was appalling
bullshit. Like, he didn't do fuck all.
Yeah.
You look like you have something to say, Shane.
I was just looking up stuff on it.
Okay, what do you got?
Well, I just read something that's irrelevant to what we're talking to, but they said that in the article I just read that it was the windows couldn't open from the outside.
Yeah, that was also in the documentary.
They can or couldn't?
Cannot.
But it wouldn't necessarily matter if the door was unlocked anyway.
Yeah. So that's another thing that didn't make sense, was either, like, that's why they tried to blame it on the parents also, is because it has to be open from the inside. So they...
But wouldn't they have security footage of people coming in and out of the hotel then?
No cameras or nothing like that.
But there was...
It's Portugal.
This place sounds sweet.
Yeah.
Well, like, you'd think all resorts would have cameras.
It wasn't technically a resort.
It's not really a resort, though. It's like a town.
Yeah, it was apartments.
It's like going to Waka.
Okay.
With like apartments that you could like
like
Airbnb, basically.
Airbnb.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sponsored?
That's interesting.
Yeah, no, there's so many things that just don't make sense in it, and that's...
Now it's time to hit you as our sponsors. Are you guys looking for a new child for child trafficking? Well, hit us up.
Are you looking for dead children EVPs? Because we got them. Yeah. Okay. So, what's next then? We got...
So they hire a private investigator in Portugal, who's it's quite a big firm.
With the money from this
with the money from
billionaire.
this guy, and
because they basically can't go back there, because if they do, they're just going to get arrested.
Yeah, they'll just keep getting questioned and questioned, and eventually
until they get some sort of coerced confession. Essentially,
the police will just break them.
Right.
So they get this investigator, and he starts making real good headway. Like, he starts finding all of these child trafficking sites, and he starts working his way into them to get information.
Like seeing shit that he doesn't want to see.
This poor fucking guy
has
to
like
send
you're rooting through child porn just to see, right?
Yeah.
Like he said, doing this investigation ruined him. Like he's not the same person he was.
But he starts making some serious headway into this, whether it's to do with Madeleine or not. He's working his way through and finding people involved with this.
As he's doing this, he's dropping hints at he wants. Like his thing that he wants is Madeleine, because he like when he makes friends with people and stuff, he's saying like, my dream girl is Madeleine.
Oh, so he's pretending to be a child. Okay,
yeah. He's fully pretending.
Yeah.
And he got so many people dropped him as soon as he said that.
Yeah.
Like, just stop talking to him, you mean?
Yeah.
Just because they were like, if he's questioning about this, he's got to be a cop, and he doesn't know, he can't be on the up and up about this.
But then his supervisor, the boss of the firm that he works for, basically says, "Yeah, we know where she is. We know who took her. We know how they did it," and releases this massive fucking news statement. And this fucking poor guy sat there after rooting through all of this shit and breaking his fucking mind. Like, no. I don't have shit right now.
Yeah.
I'm getting somewhere. But they drop him as an investigator. As soon as that happens, they drop the firm completely.
Wow.
Yeah, and you can tell this guy is just broken from that case. Like, he will never be the same person again.
I don't think he ever could be going through that stuff.
No.
He was fucked.
Like even just like people going on the dark net just to see what it's about.
Yeah, well, that's what he was having to do. He was having to root around that sort of area.
Like I'm sure Shane's done the Gauntlet. Have you done the Gauntlet?
I've never gone on the darknet.
But have you done the Gauntlet, like videos from the darknet that are on Common Web now? Like one guy, one hammer and shit like that.
I've seen that one.
One guy, one hammer?
Yeah, or like one guy, one jar. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
2 guys, one hammer. I saw
one guy, one hatchet or whatever.
I saw one guy, one jar.
Yeah, don't look any of these up if you want to not lose your mind.
Nice.
Let's keep back to this and finish this.
Right,
story.
but my point is that stuff fucks with you.
Yeah, they then hire a US firm.
Yeah, I'm not the same after that.
To go through it, but this guy is essentially a fucking con artist.
Yeah, but he goes on saying like they ask him, "What have you gotten so far?" And he's like, "I got a lot." Is what he keeps going to.
Yeah,
I got everything.
He says that he has satellite footage from the night Madeleine disappeared.
Yeah,
and he sends them Google Earth screenshots.
Yeah, like it's ridiculous, and he gets his first payment and flees. Because they question him. They're like, are you legit? And he's gone.
Yep.
They track him down and fucking find out that he is a scam artist and has scammed many companies doing the same shit.
So he goes to prison and dies 2 years later from a brain hemorrhage.
This is the second investigator. Guy, right? Okay. Yeah.
So at this point, they've fucking...
See, now firing the first investigator after they're saying that they have all the stuff is suspicious.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is like.
But my thoughts on this.
Could the cops be involved in that then? If they dropped them at the same time?
Would the parents accept this guy's help if they killed her?
Accept which guy's help?
The rich guy.
The rich guy.
Because it makes them look less suspicious.
Does it?
Yeah.
You just asked why would.
Because you're still going.
They know how much money this guy's got.
It doesn't matter. It's not their money.
No, I'm not saying it's their money.
They know he can find out fucking anything.
If they did it,
that much money in the world,
right? But maybe they feel confident enough that he won't find something.
I feel like if you are smart enough, you know.
Because the guy that they hired is looking into this sex ring for children sex trafficking. Found nothing on Madeleine. They don't nobody's found anything on it from what I'm gathering so far. So if you're the parent and you think you did a competent enough job doing it and you don't think anything's going to trace back to you, all it's going to do in the public eye is be like, okay, well, the parents are going above and beyond working with a billionaire to find their kid, which means that there's less reason, it makes them look less implicated.
But what they were with 8 people.
Yeah.
Right. So there's no suspicion on any of those 8 people at all based on them going to check the kids?
No.
This is what I'm saying. It's that's the window of opportunity.
None of them were missing for more than 15 minutes.
It doesn't matter. If the girl's passed out and drugged, all you have to do is move the body.
Where?
To where? It doesn't matter. Different room. As soon as you guys are done drinking,
they search every fucking room.
I don't know. There's a possibility somewhere. 15 minutes is more than enough time.
15 minutes to move someone through a hotel.
When there's 2 other kids in the room.
I'd say 15.
Sleeping. Also drugged.
I'd say 1% is a chance, but it's not a likely chance.
Yeah. And also
another theory.
The other thing there is how Patrick said they dropped the private investigator.
Right.
They did, but they were...
Oh, keep going.
They were told that they should... It was in their best...
Is that the neighbors again?
They were told it was in their best interest to drop him by I think it was their publicist at that point, because the fact that the company came out and they weren't dealing with the private investigator, they were dealing with this company, and the company came out and said we found everything, blah blah blah, and then the private investigator contacted them and said no, I'm working on it, but I haven't gotten there. They were like, well, this is a waste, and that's what they dropped him.
A publicist is a fucking idiot.
Under their
not very good publicist.
Under their
you're listening, you
their
fucking
words,
idiot. What the
that's
fuck?
why they
There's
dropped
a child
him.
missing, you fuck.
Yeah.
But the media made it look like it was they were dropping him because he got too close. Is what they made it look like.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. There's 2 different ways to look at it. And it all depends if you think the parents did it or if you think they didn't.
Yeah. So at this point, the parents have basically lost hope, and no one is currently looking into it. I imagine the documentaries probably sparked some stuff, but my end theory of this is that she was taken from the room.
Mm-hmm.
She was moved, God knows where that night.
And the window was open to make it look like...
I don't think... I don't know. But she was moved that night.
I mean, you could have snuck in through the back door and then left through the window.
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
Because it's probably easier to leave that way
actually,
than to
now
walk
that
through
you
with
say
a
that, if you think
body.
about it, when the first lady came in, or the first man came in, and they heard rustling, that could have been the dude going out the window because he heard someone come in.
And that probably still haunts the guy that went to check on him that night.
Yeah.
Or maybe that was the guy that moved the body.
Yeah.
To where?
To where?
I don't know.
Where could you move a
trunk?
child's body? They didn't have trucks.
don't know.
None of them had a car there.
Yeah, but I don't know. There's probably somewhere you could put something.
Yeah.
I feel like to do
Well,
it
look at
in...
that cupboard. That's perfectly for an infant.
This is
A freezer?
This is easy for him to say because he didn't see it and hasn't seen the
Yeah.
setup of how things
he
how
hasn't
things
seen the
look there.
documentary. You haven't. Shut the fuck up, Kenny.
But yeah, like I get the argument, and that's the reason why if you're interested in this, you should watch the documentary because it is actually very well
It's
put
8
together.
episodes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm on episode 4. I mean, I don't need to watch it now because
Well, you probably should still do it.
spoiler.
The end theory that I came up with, she was taken that night. She was moved God knows where. The case started getting a lot of fucking traction, and a lot of people started looking into it. The people who were going to sell her off or put her into a thing killed her, dumped the body probably in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
But there was
She will never be found.
There was lots of other weird sightings that came up after,
Yeah,
and
but
the thing,
see,
they don't know if it was just for media and blah blah blah.
Yeah, so there was something like 3,000 or 4,000
And they talk about
different leaks of
They
information.
talk about that in like the first episode.
Yeah.
like you shouldn't be public about it because
Yeah.
it's just going to make the kidnappers panic and then just
But hear me out, right?
kill the kid.
How many times have you been walking around and it's been like relatively late, or like you're coming back from a party or something, and you see something pretty fucking odd happening?
Or you hear kids next door screaming.
Yeah, right? And you don't think anything of it because it's like, it's fucking late. People are weird at this time of night. Most of the information they got that night was probably just stuff like that. Stuff that you would usually never think anything else of. But it gave the police false areas to look at.
The weirdest thing that was brought up years later was the sighting of like there was like 2 back-to-back in the documentary that were weird, and the first one was like the lady that walked up to these 2 guys that were just out drinking, walking down the street, and she walked up to them and was like, "Are you here to deliver my kid?" And they were like, "What?" And she was like, "My new kid. Are you here to deliver my new kid?" And then they were like,
What the fuck?
like shaking
Lady,
their head.
what the fuck?
And then the lady just ran off.
Yeah.
That's
And that was
weird.
like the night of her disappearance. Late, like
In the same area?
no. Well,
It was in like a town
Yeah,
next
over.
door or something like that.
And then the next thing that they talked about was like another person reported in that same area seeing in their headlights when they were driving a lady and a man running like they were trying to hide what looked like as big as a kid
Yeah.
running across the street.
But they were running towards the marina.
Yeah.
And then if you
Right.
think about it from there,
Hop on a boat.
yeah,
That's
it's not landlocked with Morocco,
Yeah.
but it sure as fuck isn't a far away on the ocean.
And the thing is the 2 guys that met the lady said like gave her description and blah blah blah, but they said she sounded like she was Australian or something like that.
And then I read something that they found bones in Australia that could be could be a match with Madeleine's.
Interesting.
But I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
even know.
the whole case through and through is essentially just a massive failure on the police's part.
Okay, sorry, I don't want. I've been thinking about this the entire time we've been talking about this. But have you guys, speaking of good Netflix documentaries, have you guys ever seen The Imposter?
I know about it. I haven't watched it.
That documentary's
I haven't seen The Imposter.
fucked up.
What's
Okay,
it about?
so what happens is there's this family in Texas. One day, their son goes to there's a family. I don't remember. Maybe it was 6 people, and their youngest.
Don't give too much away because we might watch this.
No. So what happens? No.
No, you give
what
as
happens-
much away as you want.
So what happens is one of the children ends up going out before work or after school. He said they go out to ride his bike or something like that, And the mom is going to work, and she works at like a convenience store. And she goes to work, blah, blah, blah. And then what happens is the kid doesn't come home that night. And so everyone's like, oh, what the fuck? The kid's gone. And then like the kid never comes back. They search for him, they do all this shit, and the kid never comes back. And then what happens is maybe a few years later, there's this guy in Spain, I think. A guy in Spain who is just he's like a runaway. He's older. He wasn't like the kid's actual age. But what happens is he's in Spain, and he heard about this case. Or no, what happens is he lives in like an orphanage, and in the orphanage he sees like what he would do is he would look up missing kids, and find kids that kind of resembled him, and then he would pretend to be them. So what happened was he
Kyle looks so confused.
That's fucked, isn't it?
Why would someone do that?
Well, he doesn't have a family. He just wants to be somebody. Watch the fucking documentary, and then you'll answer your question.
Yeah, there's fucked up people in this world.
So what happens is then he goes back. He pretends to be this kid, and what happens is he ends up contacting them and telling them that yeah, I'm your son, blah blah blah, and they're like, oh, what the fuck? Why do you have like a Spanish accent? And it was like, oh, I've been living in Spain for so long, like blah blah blah, and then they send him a picture of him, and he dyes his hair because the kid had blonde hair and the Spanish guy had black hair, so he dyes his hair blonde, and fucking he dyes his hair blonde. And then they send him a picture of him, and they're like, "Oh, why aren't his eyes the same color? Like, 'cause he has blue eyes. This motherfucker has brown eyes." And he's like, "Oh, well, people who took me like changed my eye colors to make me look like this guy." And then the family's like, "Oh, okay." So they take him.
And they just accept it.
They accept it. They pick him up, and he comes back to live in fucking America with him as their kid. And then one of the people that happens is everyone believes it's him for some reason, except for one guy, and one guy like sees him and goes, "This isn't," like in front of everybody. He goes, "This isn't."
But even his parents are like, "Oh, this is our kid."
Yeah.
But just some random dude knows it's not him.
Not some random dude, like a family member.
Okay.
So a family member was like, "You guys are in denial. This isn't him." Blah blah blah. And then like that's the only time you only ever hear from him again.
Right.
So what everybody thinks is that guy who said that's not him may have murdered the actual kid, and everybody knows about it, and everybody's in on it. So what happens is they think that because that kid came back and is actually their son,
yeah,
they can't be charged with like a murder or something like that.
Right.
And eventually the guy's like, "Yeah, I'm not this fucking kid," because he gets like weird like murdery vibes from this family. And he's like, "Yeah, what the fuck? Get me the fuck out of here!"
Yeah.
Essentially,
he like admits that he was.
He's like, "Yeah, I'm not this guy. I'm not him. Get me out."
Yeah,
and it's a really good documentary.
That's fucked, man. Holy shit.
Have you guys heard of the one called Who Took Johnny? No?
No?
So there was this kid, he was a paper boy. His name was Johnny Gosh. Does that sound familiar to you guys?
No, but it does line up with the title of.
So Johnny Gosh was, I believe he was like 12 years old or something like that. He was doing a paper route, and somebody saw him get taken by somebody in a van. And then what happens is, basically what we've been talking about is the kid goes missing. They follow the trail, and I'm not going to go too much into it because I want to actually get you guys to watch this maybe so we can talk about it. But crazy shit happens. They trace it back to vice presidents and other famous politicians and stuff, and child sex trafficking in the States. Even I'm trying to think of who, I don't remember where I heard this piece, but the mom is like a big reason why people were still investigating this. And I think it's been like 30 years since this kid went missing, and she got a phone call a few years ago from somebody claiming to be her son, and basically told her like who took him, where they've been, where he's been doing stuff, how he's been like doing. So basically what they were saying is politicians got their hands on him, took him to I can't think of what it's called, but it's like a getaway for like politicians. It's like a meetup for like a club for them, like a what's it called?
Cult.
It's kind of like
it's
a cult,
what Alex Jones went to.
Yeah, so it's this
like
Alex Jones
weird meetup, right? And the kid who called the kid
just over the child.
The kid who called the mom saying that he was this Johnny Gosh kid was saying that he was there and he was drugged. Or one of the girls or something that was there as well was drugged, forced to have sex with these people, and they would wear Satanist robes and stuff. But they aren't Satanists. The reason they did it, all this weird stuff, is to disorient the people, so that if they ever escape or get out of it, and they tell people, yeah, I was kidnapped, they were wearing robes, they were sacrificing people, turned into orgies, nobody's going to believe that, right? So this tale unfolds in all these weird ways. We should watch that, and I'll find a couple other sources that I've listened to, and I'll get you guys to check them out, and then we can talk about that, because that gets way fucking wild.
Have you guys heard about the J.C. Lee Dugard?
Yeah, that sounds familiar as well.
So she was kidnapped when she was, I think, 11 or 12, and she was just waiting for a bus in somewhere in the States. And a car drives past and just piles her into it. So she's gone. Mm-hmm. Like the dad tries chasing the car down on his fucking push bike, and he just can't keep up with the car.
I remember hearing this story, yeah.
And she is gone. She was gone for 18 years. And someone said that they saw someone that looked a little bit like her. And it was her. She was being kept in this guy's backyard. He'd had 2 kids with her.
Right.
He was a registered sex offender.
And there was like a thing where she basically her kids are her kids, so she wanted to keep the kids even when she tried going back to normal life and stuff.
But he convinced the kids that the mum was actually his like wife, who was also fucking weird. But he went to a fucking police interview and brought the 2 little girls with him. And this woman, his parole officer was like, why are you with these 3 women? They look very young.
Yeah.
Because he brought fucking J.C. Lee with him as well as the 2 kids.
That's...
Yeah. Have you ever heard of Jimmy Savile?
Jimmy Savile?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
You ever hear about that guy?
So fucked.
Oh, what's the
Operation U Tree in England.
The 2 boys that kidnapped the small Bulger, the Bulger case.
Yeah,
that case is fucked up too.
Yeah, they fucking
James Bulger.
Yeah, something like
Jimmy
that.
Bulger.
They killed him.
It's like a little kid that these 2.
Jimmy Bulger is the guy from. He was in Boston. He was
these 2 like the 6 and 8-year-old kidnapped like a 3-year-old at a shopping mall, and they took him.
Oh, and they cut his head off.
I don't know if they cut his head off, but they would like basically
they brutally tortured and killed him or something.
Yeah,
like that.
I remember.
Yeah, crazy. Because there's like chilling footage of them like luring him away from his mom, and they're just little boys.
It's fucked.
And those guys are out now. Like those guys are out and living in society.
They got given new identities, and
that's unreal. Jamie Bulger, I think that's what it was.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we'll wrap this up for this week because it's getting a little dark.
Yeah.
We're gonna try and do something a little bit different from now on. I think Kyle's gonna come with some sort of conspiracy or topic he wants to talk about. Patrick is also, and I'm gonna try and either come up with something funny to talk about, or I think we discussed maybe me coming up with some more games. So yeah, hopefully that'll be more of a regular routine, and it won't be as dark as it is, but sometimes it might be. So if you're not into that, then just keep an eye or an ear out, I guess, for that. But yeah, I don't know. Do you guys have anything else to say?
No, I think that was a pretty intense one all round.
I like that we went from taste tripping to like a fucking
potential witnesses in a murder trial.
Yeah.
Let us know if you liked us talking about these documentaries and stuff.
Yeah.
On any of the social media, and if we should do more like this, like kind of a movie time but documentary style.
Life with Kenny Pod on Instagram, Life with Kenny Podcast on Facebook.
Give us weird shit to research as well.
Send us some messages. I might come on and talk about Brian Peppers in the next couple weeks. If you guys don't know who Brian Peppers is. But yeah, maybe next time Shane's on, we'll get him to bring something in. Because I know... Actually, you know what? Before we go, we should ask Shane about the story we talked about a couple weeks ago. It was a Reddit article I had read.
Oh, yeah. Fucking hell, man.
Okay, so if you
Ask away.
If you are a new listener,
Ask away.
I read a Reddit story that Shane had sent to me a few years ago. And in the Reddit story, actually, Shane, can you just actually sum it up for listeners?
You mean to tell the entire story?
Yeah, just tell it from your perspective from now.
Now?
Yeah, well, because I read it back then, so you can fill us in on the story and
What do you mean? What do you
tell us the story and then
So
tell
just
us
tell
the
the story?
after
Is that what you
and then the aftermath.
Do I start from the beginning?
Sure.
Okay. So for context, I'll give context to the entire story.
Okay.
My dad always rents out rooms and out of his place, and people he doesn't do it anymore. Obviously,
Well, Kyle asked real quick too. Is this the place that you're living now?
Yeah.
Okay.
So my dad always rents out. Ever since I was a kid, he's always rented out rooms just for extra money, just because why not? And he rented a room out to this couple, Robin and.
You're gonna use names?
Yeah, fuck, I don't give a shit. Robin and Keith. Keith was the guy, and Robin was alright. Keith was a giant piece of shit. They moved in. They were fine. They were nice people. They would always keep to themselves. They would never fucking eat our food. They wouldn't do dumb shit. Obviously, until this up until this point. And
but you
no problems. We have any problems? They had a key to the back door, and the back door would always lead right to the stairs up to their room. So they would be out of people's way. And then they lived there for a while, and they lived there for maybe 3 years. Nothing bad had ever happened. I'd always assumed that they used to be junkies.
But why did you assume that?
Just because of how they looked.
Nice.
Okay, fair enough.
No, well, I mean, you've seen junkies before, right? Have you ever seen junkies?
Yeah.
Like an actual junkie?
Yeah, just fucking gaunt.
Yeah, like their teeth are rotting. They're fucking useless.
Do you mean the British?
No, this is a little bit better than the British.
Oh, okay. Slightly more teeth.
Slightly more teeth. Yeah, they had teeth. They're in rough shape.
Right.
Anyway, so what happened one day was, I came home from something, and this is the day that it happened. They've been living there for 3 years, and you never see them ever when you were there. They would always be in the room or they'd be gone. And then one day,
Perfect roommates is what you're saying.
yeah, essentially. And they weren't loud or anything. One day, I saw Keith come down, and he'd fucking gained so much weight. He probably was 180 pounds when he moved in, and he's probably pushing 320 at this date.
Really?
I remember hearing him coming down the stairs, and I was like, those stairs are old. Those fucking stairs. Dad, you better do something about those stairs. Yeah. And I remember seeing him, and I was like, fuck, he's fat. And then the day that I came home and this happened, Robin came down the stairs, and she was in the bathroom, and she was puking. And before she went into the bathroom, she walked by, and I made a joke to my cousin who was living there. And I said, fucking, because Robin looked fat too. And I was like, hey, Terry, is Robin pregnant? And he's like, it's like, no, they just gained weight. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, oh, she was fucking fat. And so the way my room was across from there, it was upstairs. And when you're in the bathroom, you can hear everything that goes on in the bathroom. It just echoes straight up the hall.
Right.
And so I'm in my room, and I can hear Robin throwing up. And then I'm like, oh my God. So I go downstairs, and I'm talking to my cousin, and I'm like, what the fuck is she throwing up for? And is she sick? I don't want to get sick, because that's the last thing I want. And he's like, no. No, he's like, no. She's on methadone, and she's having withdrawals from drugs. And I was like, oh, so she was a junkie. I was right. Fuck yes. And
Success.
I think
I'm
we
always
should put
right.
you on the Madeleine McCann case.
I'm always right. Yeah.
Pregnant and on drugs.
She was a junkie, I
You're
think.
2 for 2.
Yeah, she was a fucking needler. So, nice woman though. And
Good roommate.
So then she's throwing up, and I'm like, oh my God, whatever. And she's screaming, she's crying, and she's fucking just having a bad time in the bathroom. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, my cousin's like, yeah, she's going through withdrawals. My cousin's older. My cousin's it was a 60.
So
he's a 60-year-old Jehovah's Witness.
How does your cousin know all of this information about this couple?
Well, he would always talk. He was home more than I was.
Okay.
So he'd always talk to them.
Right.
And he's a Jehovah's Witness, so he'd probably try to convert them. Yeah, he'd probably try to convert them or some shit. So what happened was,
I'm trying to stealthily adjust this fucking Slurpee so I can actually drink it, and
So-
all you can hear is.
Fucking ghost is back. So anyways, so I'm like, fuck it, I'm leaving the house. I'm just gonna ride out the storm. So I go to the store, and I remember buying 2 bags of chips because they had like a sale on or whatever. And I remember walking around.
What kind were they?
I don't remember. Oh, one was sour cream and onion. I remember because that's what I was eating when this happened. And I remember I remember purposely buying chips because
Lay's or Old Dutch?
They were Old Dutch.
Nice.
And I remember chewing. I remember buying them and being like, "Oh, I can chew it, and then it'll fucking drown out her crying." And
wow.
So, yeah.
Spoken like a true serial killer.
Fuck her. Anyways, so I go to the store. I come back, and then like I'm eating the chips, and she's still screaming. And I start to feel bad for her. So I'm like, oh my god, she's having a bad time. Like it's gonna be like this for a while for her. And all of a sudden, she stops crying, and I'm like, oh shit, did she die? I'm like, why is she not crying anymore? And like his Keith was in the bathroom with her, and I'm like, okay. And all of a sudden, you hear just tiniest little baby crying. And I remember sitting on the edge of my bed, watching TV. I remember sitting on. I'm thinking,
all I can picture is you with like a half-chewed chip in your.
No,
mouth,
I had maybe 2 chips.
It was probably the exact reaction we had when we heard some fucking screaming next door.
No, I remember thinking, I just remember thinking, fuck yes, I'm right again. She's pregnant. No, I didn't think
not any fucking more. She's not.
And you were like, "Fuck, is it mine?"
No.
I should have wiped so much semen on that towel.
I shouldn't have thrown it at her. Anyways, so I hear the baby crying, and then my cousin also, who's downstairs, hears it too. And I come to the top of the stairs, and I look down. I look straight down, like no, like this can't be happening. She's not having a baby in the bathroom.
Right.
And then my cousin comes walking down the stairs, and he's never sworn in his life, ever. And he goes, he's never taken the Lord's name in vain either.
Right.
And he goes, Jesus fucking Christ, what have you guys done? He goes, oh my God, oh my fucking God. And I'm like, oh, it's serious. And then he doesn't have a cell phone because he's fucking 60. And he yells at me, Shane, call 911. So fucking, I run down the stairs. And I'm like, I call 911, and I'm like, oh, someone's having a fucking baby in my house. She's like, oh, let me put you through to the emergency responders. And I'm like, oh, okay. So then they put me through, and they're like, here, you're having a baby. And I'm like, I'm not. Someone is in my house. And they're like, okay, we need you to give the phone to the are you like? And they asked me the questions like, are you the dad? I'm like, no, it's just in my house. Blah blah blah. And they're like, okay, so are you in the room? I'm like, no. And they're like, okay, well, we need to be in the room. So give us the phone to someone who's in the room.
So you know how most call centers have a script.
Yeah.
I imagine the person on the other end of the phone was at this point just like, fucking, which page is this shit on?
So let me get the book.
Jesus. Yeah,
let me
2
get the
seconds,
manual.
Shane. Hang on.
Shut up, Shane. Just
not in house, not the dad. What the fuck? Who is this boy?
And then she's like, okay, well, you need to have, like, we need to be in there because there's stuff we need to do. And I'm like, okay. So I open I unlock the door because it's one of those it's one of those locks that has the lock. It's not the lock on the outside, but you can unlock it from the outside
with a pen.
Like
thing?
like a
coin.
Yeah, like a coin or like a butter.
Right.
Yeah.
So I just took my finger and I just put my finger in and I just unlocked it.
Correct.
You have very weird shaped fingers.
If it's like a slit, you can put like a coin in it though. You can just like the
Yeah,
tip of your
slip
thumb.
finger. I got you.
Yeah. So I do that and I open it and then I'm like, they need to fucking be in here. Talk to them. I'm like trying to hand him the cell phone like this. I'm like, fucking take it. Take the fucking phone. And he's just standing there like, huh?
Like, under your suspicion, do you think he was pretty fucking high at that point?
No. I thought he didn't. Like, I thought that he didn't know she was pregnant and...
he was kind of in shock.
He's in shock.
Okay.
So I'm like, take the phone. And I'm like, he's like, I'm like, get the fuck out. And he's like, huh? And I'm like, get out of the bathroom. So I kick him out. I close the fucking door, and the bathroom's tiny. Like the bathroom is probably like that wall, this wall, probably to here. And there's a fucking bathtub in it. So it's
okay. So about 8 by 12.
Sure, 8 by 12. Yeah, we'll
okay.
say that. And yeah, we'll say 8 by 12. And she's sitting on the toilet naked, The bathtub is full of water, and there's shit in the bathtub. So to me,
Right. So how long did it take for you to start fapping?
I finished before the ambulance got here, but I started after I got in the bathroom.
No matter how like well equipped you are for emergency situations as a person, I feel like you walk into that and you're like, well, fuck me, what do I do with this? There's a naked woman trying to shit out a baby.
The baby was already shit out. She's holding the shit covered baby in her hands. And the baby's crying. So I didn't. Yeah, the baby's out already.
Jesus, man, I'd have clocked out so fast.
So I remember
Kyle's completely silent, right?
I just want to hear this.
I remember walking into the bathroom and just seeing the walls, the floor, the fucking sink, the fucking mirror, fucking everything just covered, just in blood. And I'm like, okay.
Oh.
Yeah, well, she had a fucking baby, man. What do you expect?
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
Fucking...
Oh, no, I was just talking about the Slurpee. It was cold. Carry on.
All right, continue.
So I walk in, and I kick the guy out, and I'm like, I'm on the phone. I'm like, okay, all right, I'm in here. And she's like, okay. She's like, I need you to do a couple things. I was like, okay. She's like, is the baby alive? And I'm like, yeah, it's alive. She's like, is it crying? And I was like, I heard it cry. So I know it cried earlier. It's not crying now. She's like, okay, is it breathing? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, check if it's breathing. So I like put my hand over its fucking mouth, and I'm like, it's breathing.
And
like,
what's the mom doing in this state? Is she just kind of laying there?
Injecting.
No. Shade, hold my fucking baby. I gotta get this in, man.
It's been 9 months without this needle.
Yeah, right. She can go 9 months.
She didn't go 9 months. She said,
Shay, give me your fucking belt.
So I'm sitting there, and she's just sitting on the couch, like on the toilet, just holding the baby. And
right. So she's just like letting you do your thing. Then she's just kind of sitting there, letting you check the baby.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I just didn't know how she was reacting to you doing
Don't fucking touch my baby.
Well, that's what I was wondering.
I gotta sell it. Don't fucking dent the head.
I'm gonna call it Madeleine.
She looks up.
The prequel.
She looks up at you. She's like, I can't find a vein. Do you think I can inject the baby if we're still attached? Right into the umbilical cord. Just fucking.
Anyways, so I'm in there, and she's like, "Okay, you got to make sure the baby's breathing." And I was like, "Okay." I check, and it was super faint. Like it felt like someone was like just squeezing a little bit of air out of it, and I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "It's breathing." And like the baby looked fine. Like it was like looking around and shit.
Yeah, it just wasn't crying.
Being a fucking baby, and
a methed out baby.
Are you wearing pink socks?
Irrelevant.
No, they were white.
No, you were making fun of Patrick for wearing girl socks, and you're wearing pink socks right
pink
now.
Pink is a gender neutral color. You
they were white before he delivered the baby.
Oh, God. All right.
Anyways, yeah, they were. Yeah. No, I fucking washed them with a red shirt. Okay, shut up. And they're fine. Anyways,
you look beautiful, babes.
Thanks. So then she's like, "Oh yeah, so yeah." She's like, "You need to clear out its airways just in case." And I'm like, "What do you?" I'm like, okay. She's like, "Yeah, you gotta take anything out of the mouth and out of the nose." So I like have to reach into the fucking baby's ugly mouth and get the stuff out, and I have to like check its nostrils, and I do it, and it's fine. Like there was a little bit in it, but it wasn't much. But I remember just being grossed out.
And you didn't put gloves on or anything?
No. I wasn't prepared.
Right.
They didn't tell you to put gloves on?
No. She didn't tell me. She just wanted me to do this. And
Worse than the fucking Portuguese police, you are.
Yeah, that's kind of fucked up that they didn't tell you, like, put gloves on or anything.
Yeah, anyways.
They don't know if you're a meth head.
I was going to say, yeah, Shane could have been there just fucking snorting crack.
Put that fucking baby out!
All right.
Oh, that's what the sour cream and onion chips was code for this whole time.
Right.
Like, so I was eating sour cream and onion chips
into my dick hole.
Yeah.
Okay. So you cleared its
clears its airways.
Yeah.
I clear its airways, and then she's like, "Okay, now you got to tie up the umbilical cord at least 6 inches from the baby." And I said, "What?"
You're like, "How big? 6 inches?" He
like,
holds out his dick.
Yeah.
Moves 4 times.
It was like 3 of these. Anyways. And so she's like, yeah, at least 6 inches. I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, tie it off with a shoelace. I'm like, I'm not wearing shoes. I'm like, I'm in my fucking house. I'm not. Who the fuck wears shoes inside their house? I'm not Italian
or American.
Yeah, what the fuck? And she's like, oh, I was like, all I got is dental floss. And she's like, oh, that's fine. So I'm like, does it have to be exactly 6
inches? Is it mint or is it non-flavored?
It was mint. Spearmint. Yeah, it was berry flavored. I used the ones that the kids get. Anyway, so I'm like, does it have to be 6 inches? She's like, no, just no more than 6 inches. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'll never forget this feeling of touching the umbilical cord, but I like grabbed it like a fucking hose. And I just like fed it to like this point where I tied it off.
How long was the total umbilical cord, do you think? Roughly. Because I've never seen one.
I'd say around a meter.
Really?
God damn.
Maybe.
Like 3 feet, maybe.
No. Okay, maybe not a meter. No, sorry. Maybe 2 feet.
Okay.
It's
Okay, continue. Sorry, I was
maybe
just
a little
curious.
bit more than 2 feet. Like if she was standing in the bathroom at the sink, you could probably like pull the baby to the fucking door. She was standing at where the bathtub was. She would probably the baby would probably reach the toilet. So maybe.
Okay. Well, knowing exactly how your bathroom's laid out, this is very helpful.
Yeah.
Continue.
So maybe if she was standing at the table, the baby would probably reach maybe here on the table.
Okay.
Baby table. Copy that.
Yeah.
All right, carry on.
And so she's like, you tie off the umbilical cord. So I remember touching it and just fucking. It felt.
What did it feel like?
It felt like it. First off, it looked like uncooked sausage, and it was
perfect.
super veiny.
Perfect.
It was kind of like
easy to inject.
It was kind of cloudy. Like it looked weird.
Cool. And what did the umbilical cord look like?
It was pink. It looked healthy. It had a few track marks, but that was it.
Yeah.
Just ties the fucking floss around his cock. Like, oh no!
Oh my headset. My headset turned out. Oh, fuck.
That's the wrong thing. Yeah. Sorry, baby.
Now I removed the skin, right? She's like, what? Circumcised myself. Oh, whoa. Sorry, no, not me. Sorry, not me. Right?
How long do I cook this?
She's like, oh, I fucking opened the wrong chapter. I did the circumcision. God damn it. Sorry, hold on. Let me find the right page.
Portugal fucking nurse.
Could you speak English? This Spanish isn't. I don't speak Spanish, lady.
She's giving you instructions on how to make a taco.
Madeleine McCann.
All right.
What? Anyway, so then after that, she's like, did you purposely turn my mic down for that?
No, yeah. When you were laughing way too hard, there's a monitor that automatically cuts the sound off here and asks, "Hey, is this too fucking loud?" So yeah, sorry for listeners if that was too loud, but whatever.
Okay. So then after that, she's like, I tie it off. She's like, don't cut it. Don't like do it tightly. Just do it so that like
it cuts the whatever.
Yeah.
Circulation.
Yeah, it's like half strength, but make sure it doesn't like slide. And I was like, okay. So I do it, and then she's like, okay, now you have to clear it. Now you have to like pick up the afterbirth. And I'm like, what the? Pardon me? She's like, the afterbirth, like the shit, the placenta.
You're like, I see a lot of
goo.
I see a lot of shit everywhere.
The goo. And I was like, I don't see that. She's like, what do you see? I'm like, a lot of blood. She's like, well, it looks kind of like blood, but it looks like thicker and like kind of. She's like, explains to me what it looks like. She's like, it's like more pink than it is red.
She's still on the wrong fucking page. It looks like it's got some mashed potato.
Yeah. Oh fuck, this is lunch. She's looking up an ingredient for beet soup.
Yeah, you want to bring it to a boil for 3 minutes.
The baby? She's like yeah, that's what it says. The pages.
Look, Shane, I'm just following the instructions here, bud.
She's like, I have this fucking book in front of me. I think the page is either a page missing, but I'm just doing my best, sweetheart.
One of the pages felt a little thick. I don't know if it's stuck together and I skipped it or.
Like that episode of Friends where Rachel makes the beef tart, but it's like it's a beef good. Jelly, good. Jam, good.
Yeah.
Oh man.
The pages are stuck together. Anyway, so she's like, yeah, clean up the afterbirth. And she explains to me what the afterbirth is. And I'm like, I don't see that. She's like, okay, it hasn't come yet. And I'm like, oh, okay, good. She's like, okay. And then at this point, I'm like, I just like, kind of like, just fucking take a minute. And I'm just like, and like I breathe, like I take like a really big exhale on the phone. She's like, you're doing great, sweetheart. And I'm like, I know.
And you're like, can I get your number?
I'm like, I know.
Are you hot?
Yeah. What do you look like? What are you wearing?
He starts having phone sex.
So
Yeah, you want me to cut this cord?
And then Robin at this point, still sitting on the toilet, she goes, I don't feel good. Can I stand up? I'm like, hold on. Can she stand up? And I'm like on the phone. 1 second. Can she stand up? And it's just on the phone. She's just really calmly. She's like, oh yeah, of course she can stand up. And I'm like, okay, stand up. Fine, that's fine. You can stand up. So she stands up. She's like, oh, I don't feel good. And I'm like, how close is this ambulance?
Right.
She's like, oh, they're gonna be here soon. And I'm like, okay. And then
Let's just preface this with you're not very far from the hospital.
not really, no.
I imagine this is all happening pretty fucking quick though.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is probably like
We've gone from Shane trying to cut off his own penis to rooting about in a baby's mouth.
Right.
no rooting about in a baby's mouth, then cutting my penis off.
Oh yeah.
It's probably like maybe 5 minutes. Like this took maybe 5-7 minutes.
Okay.
Between 5 and 10 minutes, I'd say.
Yeah.
There's a lot that happened. And so anyways, so Robin stands up and then she goes, oh, I don't feel good. And I'm like, oh. I'm like, she doesn't feel good. She's like, uh-oh. And I'm like, she's standing there and she goes, oh. And then that's when the afterbirth decides to fall. And when it fucking came out, it looked like someone like had a water balloon inside of her just fall out and fucking just splat on the floor. And I remember thinking, on the phone I was like, there it is. She's like, it fell out, and I was like, yeah. She's like, okay, now you have to clean it up. And I was like, she's like, the ambulance is gonna need to take it to the hospital, and they're gonna need to like do some research on it. Like they're gonna have to test it.
They're gonna eat it.
I'm like,
Cook it in their
god. I'm like, oh god. And at this point, I remember walking out of the bathroom and being like, I think this woman used to be a user. She's like, okay, we'll worry about that when we get there. And I'm like, okay. So then, of course, as I fucking start cleaning it up, like I literally just throw towels on it.
Right.
And like let the towels soak it up. And then I remember my dad's friend. My dad had this friend. His name's Sid, and he's a piece of shit. He came into my house halfway through. I didn't type this on the Reddit story because it was irrelevant.
Yeah.
But I remember he came in halfway through this happened. Like halfway through this was happening. Like essentially, I was on the phone calling the police, or not calling the ambulance and getting the emergency responders. And he's like walking into my house. So I'm like, Robin's having a baby, and he fucking like walks in. He starts walking up the stairs, and then I'm like, Robin's having a baby, and he fucking looks me dead in the eyes, turns around, gets back into his fucking vehicle.
That's what you gotta do.
That's what I would have done too.
No response on his face. He just was like, see you. And I remember coming out of the bathroom when the ambulance got there, and he was sitting on the couch, and I thought, you fucking piece of shit.
So he came back?
He didn't leave. He went back into his vehicle, and then he just like decided he'd sit on the couch and do nothing.
Wow.
Like why? I don't know why you'd just hang out in a house that had that happen. But anyways, so the fucking shit explodes on the floor. I clean it up with towels. I put it into a fucking plastic bag, like a fucking responsible adult. And then as soon as I do that, of course, like literally as I tie up the bag, the fucking paramedics just come slamming through the front door, like. And they're like, paramedics, we're here to help the baby, help the lady with the baby, or whatever. And then, so they come in, and Robin was like standing there, and she like holding the baby still. So she starts walking out into the hallway, and like just fucking dripping blood everywhere. And then I'm like, I'm like to Keith, I'm like, you're probably gonna like, she's naked,
and you were like,
she's leaving.
You were like, there goes your damage deposit, bud.
Yeah. No, she's leaving, and I'm like, I look at Keith, I'm like, can you get some fucking clothes for her? Because she's naked. She doesn't, like, she's going to need clothes. She's going to be there for a while. And he goes, oh, yeah. Oh, So he goes upstairs, gets some clothes. The ambulance gets her, and then they ask her, they whatever. Like they're putting her on the stretcher and shit, and then he goes upstairs to get his clothes. He comes down with just clothes for him, by the way. Just fucking a t-shirt and a pair of jeans for him. And then I'm like, where the fuck are her clothes? He goes, oh shit. So he runs back upstairs, this fat fucking useless piece of shit, goes and gets clothes for her. All he brings down, no bullshit, was slides. Like Nike slides. Nice. And I'm like, you fucking idiot. He's like, well, they're going to give her a gown. I'm like, well, she's going to leave. Like, she's going to leave the hospital at some point. So he goes upstairs, gets her more clothes. And then at this point, the ambulance comes in, and then the paramedics are like, oh, like, you're okay, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, yeah. And she's like, do you have HIV? Like, she's like, are you HIV positive or Hep C positive? And she's like, yes. And I'm like, what? I'm like, what the fuck did you just say? And I start freaking out. I remember, I'm like, why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell me? I just, my brain broke. I was like, why didn't you tell me? 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 Why did you tell me? And then I remember being like, okay, just calm down. Like, in my head, I said it to myself, and I was like, oh, I can't calm down. I can't calm down right now. And I remember being like, what the fuck? And then, Keith, I remember being like, just, touching my shoulders. Like, hey, just calm down. And I'm like, no, fuck. And I start slapping him. I'm like, why the fuck didn't you tell me? And then I remember the paramedics being like, whoa, chill. And I was like, what the fuck? Why didn't they tell me? And they're like, didn't you wear gloves? I was like, no, I didn't wear fucking gloves. No one told me to wear gloves. I didn't know this was going to happen. I didn't know that she was going to be HIV positive or Hep C positive. And they're like, oh, well, I mean, you're probably fine, but you probably want to get checked out later. Right. And I was like, ugh. And so there's a fucking mess, and I'm fighting Keith in the living room. My cousin has this fucking wiener dog, and of course we didn't have time to clean it up yet. So while we're fighting, the fucking wiener dog walks off to the hallway, starts eating the placenta on the ground. He starts eating it, and then my cousin starts freaking out, seeing this. He goes, "Oh my god!" Like he's like, "Schneider, get away from that!" And he picks it up, and the dog fucking yelps. The dog yells. He's, so he picks it up, and he's like, "Oh my god!" So he puts the dog down in his room. And
he put the dog down?
No. Not yet.
Not yet.
So he put him down in his room. Cause my cousin's room is in the basement. And he puts him in the room so the dog doesn't get out and fucking eat the shit again. So they leave, and I'm like to the paramedic who's grabbing the bag of fucking blood and placenta and shit. I'm like, I didn't know she had HIV. What do I do? She's like, just throw bleach on it. And I was like, what? She's like, just bleach it. And then she told me it was HIV will die as soon as it hits the air, essentially. But Hep C will live for 6 months. So she's like, yeah, just throw bleach on everything. Just mop it with bleach.
So that would treat Hep C as well. Is what you said?
That would kill everything. The bleach will kill everything. She said. Crazy.
Did you ever look into that to see if that's legit?
Yeah, I googled it.
Yeah, and it worked.
That's true.
Okay, because that's risky, man.
And then I remember. Oh, obviously this was years ago. And then I ended up getting checked out. Obviously, I remember. Yeah, telling my boss in the morning after because I didn't sleep. So what happened was I ended up going to bed at 11, and I didn't go to the hospital because I thought I was fine. I had a little cut on my hand, on my wrist. It was a scrape or something like that. And
you were listening to too much MCR.
Yeah, a little bit. Actually, that almost, and we'll talk about that later. So I remember, and then I remember I told everybody, I called all my friends, texted my friends. I was like, this just fucking happened. And then I called my ex-girlfriend just because we're still friends. And I was she was at work, so I left a voicemail, and I was like, call me back. And I texted her, I was like, if you don't call me back, I'm never talking to you again. So she called me when she was off work at 11.
Yeah.
She works at a restaurant, and she's like, what happened? And I was like, oh, so fucking guess what? And then I tell her the story, and then she's like laughing. She's like, haha, that's funny. And then her sister, she goes home, and she's like, I'm going to tell, Sarah, my sister, because they live together. And Sarah has been to Africa a bunch of times, so she, gets the HIV stuff.
Right.
And so I'm laying in bed, it's 11:45, and then Sarah calls me. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm in bed. She's like, I just heard about your story. I was like, yeah. She's like, get up. I'm like, what? She's like, Lindsay and I are outside. I was like, what the fuck? She's like, I'm like, I work tomorrow. I'm like, I'm not going to the hospital now. It's 11:45. I work at 7 tomorrow. She's like, get up. We're going to the hospital. And I'm like, okay. So I get up. I go to the hospital. I go to check in. First person I see, fucking Robin.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, I look at her. She's like, doesn't really look at me, and I'm like, I look at her, and I'm like, you fucking piece of shit. This is why I'm here because of you.
It's not even like, oh, I'm just double checking that you and the baby are okay.
Yeah, no, she doesn't like, she sees me, but she probably doesn't acknowledge me. She's probably like,
Embarrassed.
Yeah.
She's injecting at the hospital.
Was the baby with her? The baby was.
No, the baby was like in some fucking like airtight chamber.
Right.
Like fucking Goku or whatever.
Coming down off of its fucking its fix.
The craziest thing happened to me today, guys. The baby was telling everybody.
Yeah.
And then I was at the hospital, and I remember being like, we were there for like 4 hours, and it was probably 3 a.m. And I remember being like, 'cause I ended up knowing the nurse, and oh fuck, I remember being like, how long is it going to be? She's like, what are you in here for? I'm like, yeah, I'm here to get an HIV test. And she's like, looks at me, and I'm like, it's a long story, trust me. And she's like, well, it's probably going to be a couple more hours. And I'm like, oh, so should I just go to a medic clinic? She's like, your best bet is just go to a medic clinic first thing tomorrow morning. And I was like, okay. So I go home. I try to go to sleep. It's like 6:30, and I'm like, I'm not going to work. So I call work, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not coming in today. She's like, calling in sick on a Monday, hey? And I'm like, no. I'm like, no. So I tell her what happened. She goes, yeah, you can take today off. It's fine. I'll give you it to you. She's like, yeah, it's fine. Just let me know what happens. And I'm like, okay. So I go to the medic clinic, and I still haven't slept at this point, and I get all the shit done, and the doctor's like, he's like, HIV test, huh? And I'm like, yeah. And he's
It's not what you think.
I'm like, oh. So I tell him what happened, and he goes, you're probably fine. So he was African. And
probably fine.
He goes, you're probably fine. And he's like telling me the story. He's like, yes, I used to work. He's like, I did a surgery on a guy once, and like, I didn't have gloves on, and I put my hands inside, and I cut myself, and the guy had HIV, and I put my hands inside, and I cut myself.
Wait, whoa. This guy was doing surgery on someone.
Yeah. I didn't
have gloves on.
Yeah.
From Africa.
And you didn't question that.
Yeah, he was like he was in Africa at the time.
Are you sure you were at a hospital?
No, I was at a medic clinic. Not the same thing.
It was just Robin's friends.
It was just his dad's friend that was sitting on the couch.
No, and then anyway, back to him. I remember being like, "Hey, can you help us?" Because I remember my dad wasn't home at this time.
Right.
And I remember being like, "Hey, can you help us clean up?" And he's like, "No." And I'm like, "No, haha, can you like help us clean up?" He's like, "No, I'm not touching that." I'm like, "Fair. Get the fuck out then. Like, get out of the house. Leave." He goes, okay. So he leaves. And then my dad comes home maybe 10 minutes later.
Right.
And he, like, walks in. I'm like, we need more bleach. He's like, what? What the fuck happened in here? I'm like, we need more bleach. I'm like, go to the store, get more bleach. And I, like, throw my wallet at him, and it, like, hits him in the chest. And he's like, you don't tell me what to do. I'm like, no, we need fucking bleach, Harold.
Next thing you know, you're fighting both Keith and your dad. You're just like...
Keith had left. Yeah, essentially. And then my dad, like, looks in the hallway. He goes, why are you guys bleaching everything? And he, like, looks down the hallway, and he goes, what the fuck happened? I'm like, Robin had a baby. And he doesn't go, what? He goes, I told her she was pregnant, but she didn't believe me. And I go, well, she said she didn't know she was pregnant. And then because that's what he said. That's what she said to me. And then he goes, no, I told her she was. She just thought she was sick.
Oh, my God.
And I remember being like, fucking bitch. And I remember because the bathtub was full of water and a bunch of shit in it. So in my head, I was like, oh, she's probably having a water birth. But then someone else told me, so I was like, or she was having cramps, which happens before pregnancy. And she, a bath often helps.
And shitting often helps.
Well, it wasn't like shit. It was like gross stuff. Like it was like placenta coming out.
Did you fry it up?
No, I didn't eat it. There's fucking HIV. Oh, anyways, at the end, I remember right before.
That's why.
Well, yeah, because there's HIV in it.
That's the only reason you didn't eat it.
Yeah, I'd have to coat myself with some of those berries, make it taste sweet. I remember and as I was leaving for the hospital, my cousin was sitting on this chair, and he was sitting there just like petting the dog, like his dog, and the dog, like, when the dog knows when the owner's sad,
right?
And he's like, boy, we had a good run. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I gotta put the dog down. Like he has HIV. And I'm like, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. I'm like, what's the first letter in HIV? He goes, human? I'm like, yeah, human. Dogs don't get HIV. Like this kind of HIV. Anyways, they have a different kind of HIV. He's like, oh. So he like looks at the dog and like puts his squishes his face. He's like, "You made another day, boy." I was like, "You fucking idiot!"
I love that he wasn't even gonna take it to the vet to make that judgment call. He was just gonna do it on his own.
Yeah. Well, he's gonna take it to the vet to put him down. But
he was just holding a fork and a butter knife and was like,
he had a shotgun.
"Goodbye, sweet prince."
Yeah. And that's the story essentially of how that happened.
I've
how
got to
Schneider
fucking
beat
say that,
HIV.
man. Well done, dude.
That's a hell of a story.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so I'm a hero and I'm single, ladies. And I don't have HIV. I got tested.
All right, well, I guess we should wrap this up. But,
Yeah, there you go. Bonus story.
That was like a 3-hour podcast.
Yeah.
No, it was only 2 hours,
Oh,
but
thank God.
I think it was a good podcast. It was pretty solid. But yeah, Shane, you're welcome back anytime, man. Thanks for telling your story, sharing that with us.
Make some more of those stories happen.
Yeah, I'll just do that.
Associate with as many crackheads as you can.
Let me ask you real quick. Did Robin and Keith, are they still together, and did they keep their kid?
They kept the baby. Yeah, the baby's fine. Baby does not have HIV.
Okay.
Oh, I remember also.
Do they still live with you as well?
No, fuck no. I remember when I was like, I remember when Keith went back upstairs after like this whole like fight thing happened. He went upstairs to get more clothes for Robin because the paramedics at this point were like, "No, get her clothes."
Right.
And I remember going upstairs. I was like, just to go into my room and be like, as he's walking, I was like, "You guys can't live here." And he looks me square in the eyes, no bullshit, and says, "Yeah, this isn't a place for a baby." And I thought, fuck you, man.
Jesus Christ.
God damn.
Do you know if they're still using and stuff?
I think they're clean.
Yeah.
They ended up moving into their own place from Sask Housing, like getting help from Sask Housing and shit. And then now they moved into a different place, and they didn't need Sask Housing. So I think they might have.
They're probably doing better now.
They're doing better, yeah.
That's good. Okay, well, thanks for sharing that story. Thanks for participating in this berry eating thing, guys. This fun times. We're gonna do more stuff like that. We're gonna do a hot wings challenge eventually, and we're definitely gonna be talking about more stories. So tune in next week for Life Legends. Probably won't be 2 hours long, but it's still gonna be a good time as always. Yeah, I don't know. With that, get a life and fuck Judge Reinhold.
Oh, fuck him hard, man.
Well, what's wrong with Judge Reinhold?
Just fuck them.
Fuck the Rhine.